What's happening, y'all? Another day, another you, another me. Wow. Another day of the Champions League group stages. Today, we have got ourselves 2 live games, and we will be doing 2 lots of recordings, as far as I'm aware. Unless the recordings go kaput, and then we won't do the recordings because they don't work. That could be an option. And if they don't work, then I don't even know what's going to happen. I don't know. At the moment, the players are in their game lobby. It looks like the first game is going to be on the map Marsh. Rappel with the huge raid. What's happening, my dude? Thanks for the support. Rappel the best. And we are going to be seeing our first game is going to be a Zuccolo versus Gaia game. It looks like. So I think these guys are basically ready to go. Are they groups? Wait, did I put the schedule in wrong? I totally put the schedule in wrong. It's not meant to be that's not correct. They are not correct at all. In fact, none of them are correct. Literally none of them are. I don't even know how I did that. I'm just going to delete them. Let's just get rid of them. Yeah, those are just incorrect. My brain obviously not functioning today. Let's jump over to the draft. Have a little sticky beak of that while these guys are getting ready to hit the go button. We got Suppe versus Zuccolo first, and then we're going to be watching Matt Trias versus Mini Yeti. We should be watching Chasing the Sun versus Tunison. And then finishing off the stream, we'll watch Garnet versus Darthnox. So let's check out the draft. Alrighty. So into our first game. And our first draft, Suppe getting himself the Zuccolo for game number 1. And we are actually going to be seeing Zuccolo going in for Gaia in game number 1. So some spice there. Fushi and Shannon getting banned. So the Chinese gods not making it through this one. We will see one Chinese god, and Suppe does oblige. Pick that one up straight away. And then Zuccolo says, great, give me Set, give me Isis. Suppe then goes, fantastic, give me Kronos, give me Amaterasu. And then Zuccolo takes even more of the Atlanteans as he grabs Gaia Uranus. Suppe then takes a couple of Norse gods to round out his draft with Thor and Freyr. And Zuccolo finishes his draft with Ra. So some very, very different priorities here for this game. We are going to be jumping into this game momentarily here. In fact, already going to be jumping into the game. So let's get this show on the road right now as we jump into game number 1. Game number 1 for our Sunday showdowns for the Champions League group stages here. We haven't seen a whole lot from this player. He's in the left-hand corner of the map. He's playing as Zuccolo, and he is from the Aces team, Mr. Husk Suppe. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Gaia. Has a tough group. If I'm being honest, he has a bit of a tough group. It is Zuccolo. He had a nice showing against Gavoth, actually. He already played against one of the 3 incredibly strong players in his group. Had a tough game against Gavoth, but he did manage to push Gavoth to the edge a few times, almost managing to topple the beast. So we'll see if he's going to be able to make it happen in this game. He's a really raiding-orientated player, super strong. He comes from the Italian school of Asian mythology. So we'll see what he's going to be able to do. Relics on the map. On the bottom, there is the tail feathers of heaven. There's going to be a little bit of divine damage there over time for your infantry units. Onto the bottom here, we've got that Jade Hair, which is going to be improving myth units' speed by a little bit. Next, we have the Eye of Ornlu, which is going to increase the attack of counter infantry units. Am I going crazy? I think my mod's broken. I'm missing some stuff. Damn it! Tearfing Angantir's sword over here as well. Lifesteal for 10% of damage dealt there for your heroes as well. So some decent relics, some very important ones actually for this matchup. And we'll see what these guys are going to be coming up for. And we do see that Suppe, he likes this. He goes, hey man, if you're going to give me a shareable storehouse, let me share it. Let me use it. Watermill on top of the wood line. Villagers gathering underneath the watermill. Going to be enjoying that one there. Saving himself 25 wood, which might not seem like a lot. It's not. But it is also saving, it's also gaining actually about 15 seconds of build time as well. So it's more like closer to 40 resources than anything else. So that's a nice one there. Suppe going to be moving his huntables closer there. Nice little opening. On the top side here for Zuccolo, he's already got himself his economic guild down. Already has himself pickaxe and hand axe. Temple coming up onto the top here. Has to start thinking about how he wants to play a defensive game here. Also, house coming down a little bit late there for Suppe. He should be okay, as he's just going to be able to squeeze it out in time. No real problems there. Temple also going to be getting completed over onto this side. A little bit of a late advance for Suppe, but he will end up getting it there with 3 Mikor, it looks like. There's no real reason against Gaia to go for a crazy fast advance. So this makes perfect sense here for Suppe. It's not, yeah, like I said, there's not really much you can do here. Unless you want to be putting pressure onto the guy or maybe killing off some oracles with the Kitsune or something like that. That's an option. But we do see Zuccolo here. He's going to be finding himself that Tearfing Angantir sword. Like I said, I think this is going to be a big help. Get a lot of damage onto the Tengu. It's going to be giving a lot of lifesteal back, so it can help out in a big way. Alrighty. Oceanus coming through here for Zuccolo. Makes no real sense to go anything else here. You want Oceanus for multiple reasons. One, you're playing against a cavalry god, so your infantry getting stronger is going to be a big help. 2, Caladria is going to be a nice big help against any sort of raids early on. And 3, if you want to go Leto here, sure you can. It might be okay, but I think it's a little bit much. It's dealing with the Shogun and things like that, just spamming out spamming out samurais versus your automatons doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Nonetheless, Zuccolo looks like he is going up for a fast heroic himself. Now this also makes sense. What's the big unit he needs to counter here? As we do see a Carnivora getting dropped down onto this spot here from Zuccolo as Suppe needs to pull back. What's the big unit he needs to counter? Well, it's going to be a fast heroic, it's going to be a Tengu, it's going to be Shogun. So what's a great way to deal with all this? Well, Contarius heroes. That seems really nice. And also Dryads. And also, actually, probably not Dryads. Stymphalian birds. Stymphalian birds are going to be a really nice answer to all of this stuff. But nonetheless, we are seeing that Kitsune sniping oracles not ideal here for Zuccolo, as his fast heroic needs favor to help prop it up. Alrighty. Zuccolo just scouting things out. Still no armory down here for Suppe just yet. He's definitely going for a fast heroic. No real surprises there. The other thing here is that this Carnivora, it might be worth actually deleting this one. If Suppe is thinking about this, he can get himself his heroic age in, drop the new moon down onto the temple, and then he can just get himself a free 300 gold from that Carnivora with his Tengu, with his Juragumo, and all that other stuff. And then he can just heal up the units afterwards. nonetheless, they are on the way. It's going to be military barracks galore here for Zuccolo. As shaft mine coming through as well. Over onto this side, the armory coming up for Soup. He will be a long way behind, I think, on this advance time. He does get to catch up a little bit on the fact that he's only got a 59-second advance here instead of that 75-second, one of the bonuses of playing Tsukiyomi. But one thing here that Zuccolo's done, which Soup hasn't, is Zuccolo's out on his hunt over here. Just enjoying that. Whereas Soup is playing very, very safe. Getting himself his chickens, his berries, finishing up over there. Moving his villagers up onto the wood now. As Hachiman will get queued up. And we do see immediately both upgrades, Poseidon's Secret and Lance of Stone coming through. Yes, Tsukiyomi does have a... Every god has got special bonuses. And one of the special bonuses for Tsukiyomi is that he advances faster. This is not crazy. This unique bonus is not crazy. We have some gods that can block god powers with their monuments. We got other gods that can boost up their speed of their infantry units by 10% or whatever it is. This specific bonus, I don't think you can call it crazy. It's like a 10% faster advance time or something. Meanwhile, Bushi will be coming out. He needs a Bushi to actually deal with the raids coming through here. As the villagers, we snipes one with the Stymphalian Bird already. Not the best defense here from Soup. He gets his Bushi out. Now the Stymphalian Bird is out of here. We are seeing all the Tengu coming through. So this is exactly... This is going to be exactly what Zuccolo is planning. I'm surprised to see... Oh, he wants it for the Shogun. Doesn't want the gold. Instead wants the Samurai. I like that move. He gets one Samurai out of it. So that's nice. Leaves himself with 146 HP. Only problem is you can't heal up that Shogun there. There's now Soup going to be looking for any amount of raids he can do. We are seeing basically full hero Kontarius here as the Tengu charges forward, will get immediately eliminated. And this is not good here for Soup in the slightest. I don't think he can take this fight. He doesn't even jump. He drops the Swampland down, but most of these units are heroes. I'm sure he's got one non-hero. He could sit there and fight that. Nonetheless, the Stymphalian Bird continuing to get damage done as he turns around. There are a couple of Yari Spearmen that obviously the Stymphalian Bird will want to snipe here as well. We just have that Bushi slowly sniping down the Stymphalian Bird as the Tengu all eliminated, it looks like. And Zuccolo with an incredibly obvious defense here. Soup makes no real attempt to play around this, and now it looks as if Zuccolo is in a perfectly good position moving forward. More Tengu coming through. Obviously, there is also that gold coming in, so it's not like this has been a waste for Soup. He's gotten some value out of his Tengu from that ivory Netscape. It's the Yati Spearman. Gonna try and get involved over here. Too many Kontarius at the moment as Zuccolo going to pull back. Zuccolo does have to be a little bit careful. He does turn around, and those Tengu Masters, great control there. Great control there from Zuccolo as Soup has to pull back again. Zuccolo is just absolutely breaking what's Zuccolo is absolutely breaking what Soup is going for here. Yeah, there is a lot of gold coming in. One idea here for Tsukiyomi inside of this strategy is actually to drop a market, because you get so much gold out of these Tengu, out of these myth units from Ivory Netscape, that you might want to just drop a market and buy food or buy wood, whatever you need. And Suppe almost loses his Tengu. He does, though, a bit of a dive over onto the other side. So his hero units need to be attacking the right unit here. Finally, Suppe actually has a decent counter to what Zuccolo is building. And he does micro it decently, keeps the Tengu alive, gets some more damage going. At the moment, it's looking like small numbers, but the gold income from those Tengu is keeping him competitive here because it's 34 villages to 42. Meanwhile, a couple more Bushi coming through, a couple more Yadi Spearmen on the way. Just trying to spend all of his resources. More Miko going to be coming through as well. Who needs villages when you can get favor income? There's the Tengu coming up onto this side. This is dangerous here now for Zuccolo, as the Tengu will kill off villages incredibly fast here. Surprised to see no manners getting dropped down onto a position like that. Pretty big blunder from Zuccolo, as he does pull back into his main town center there. He's pushed off gold for the time being. Now seeing on the backside here those Hero Contarius sniping the small numbers of Yadi Spearmen. As he says, all right, let's pull back. Look for maybe some raids elsewhere. Don't really need to charge around here. He does get on top of one Tengu as he manages just a one-bang cat while it jumps through the air there. But so far, so good for Zuccolo. The game still continues. Both players floating some resources here. Not exactly sure what to go for next. Arcus on the way here for Zuccolo. He needs those to try and deal with those Yadi Spearmen. Villagers getting sniped here on this bottom corner. That's a huge amount of losses over here as Suppe gets caught out somewhere where he really shouldn't be. He's up onto the top food as well, so you can take your pickings of where to raid at the moment for Zuccolo. Zuccolo also maybe a palace here would not go astray. But more Yadi Spearmen coming through. More Tengu Master. Potentially like Murmillos here would not go astray for Zuccolo. Don't necessarily need Arcus. Maybe Arcus are fine, but I don't like Arcus versus Tengu. But Murmillos, they make a lot of sense. The reason I don't like Arcus versus the Tengu is because even if they're Arcus heroes, I don't know how well or how fast they're gonna be able to kill everything off. Nonetheless, the Kontari is coming through. Yadi Spearmen flying in. Tengu's diving forward, trying to get some damage. Good control here from Zuccolo, sniping down those Yadi Spearmen nicely, charging back in with those Hero Contarius. Is there enough here is the big question. He could drop a Carnivora or something like that. But without any Murmillos, this is looking very, very dangerous for Zuccolo at this moment. As the Hero Arcus turning, trying to snipe off those Tengu Masters ever so slowly. Now it's a villager differential is equal. Now seeing the Contarius getting sniped down by his Suppe as well as he picks them all off on the back there. And Suppe is just happily floating gold. He doesn't need a single villager on gold at the moment. Naginata Riders to come through. Now, what can Zuccolo really do? He needs to get back over onto his gold mine. He will drop a palace. He puts it on the back here. It's not super ideal. On the front would be really, really good. Now there's heavy upgrades through for Suppe. And Suppe is continuing to pump out Miko in this game. He's got random shrines all over the place that he can just go towards. And Mass Arcus. I mean, it's a good idea here because he has the palace to retreat to. As the Tengu dive through, you have that little bit of animation slowdown there as the citizens have to pull into the palace over here as well, sniping one of them. But Zuccolo needs to be on this gold here. He needs to get units out. Are we going to see any Murmillos to come through actually for Zuccolo is the big question. It looks like the answer is no. Meanwhile, Naginata Riders out in force, so a necessity inside of Mamilo or Catapultes, because these guys hurt. They're really, really strong here. One more Hesperid's trees are up. Going to be spamming out a couple of Dryads here as more military barracks getting called upon. Meanwhile, town center for Soup, as he says, got to get that economy rolling. Why not? Onto the top. Are there any villagers up here? Yes. And Soup does notice it, but can he get in and block them is the question. Oh, he does block them. He gets 2 hero citizen kills as well. As the Contarius are in to defend, but they will not win this fight. He pulls back. And Soup is in front on population. He is behind on military resource value, though. And I'm interested in what Soup's saving up for at the moment. He's no longer building Tengu. He does have a whole bunch of wood in the bank, so he can spam them. There he goes. He's gonna keep making them. Okay. The thing about this unit that I think everyone likes to focus in on. We are seeing some raids over here. Likes to focus in on the cheese because that's the hot topic. But really, this unit, it's like okay. It's like it's a good cheese. Don't get me wrong, but it's not. Obviously, it's not game breaking. It's not game ending. When this unit becomes the most troublesome is when you have like 10 plus out. That's when this unit is the most troublesome. So Soup here, he can just pump them all out slowly, get himself up to 10 plus, and then Zuccolo on the other side does have some options against that. He can heroize everything. That's definitely a way to play. But that's very, very expensive. The Tengu searching for some citizens, does pick off one there. At the 5.3 speed, charging through here. What is he going to be able to find? Meanwhile, over onto this side, charging in to hit this gold mine again. Zuccolo does react quickly, dives into his palace. And we'll slap another one there, keeping those numbers low. Does he have himself ballistics? He does have ballistics, so this is really, really nice. As Zuccolo very smartly, not really taking a fight, but just sniping. Now he pops down the Caladria. Carnivora. I keep on getting those confused. The Carnivora on the fight, but immediately gets sniped. And Soup is getting pushed back for the time being. Castle with 14 seconds remaining here. The Destroyers will be able to take them down nice and quickly. And the castle has been denied for the time being, but now Shinobi coming through to say, excuse you, you are not going to be dealing with this one here at the moment. As all the Archers pulling through the palace up onto the top, sniping units down, doing what he can. Soup pulls back. 1,500 gold in the bank right now for Soup as well. He can keep on pumping units out. Does he have a market? Yeah, he can buy stuff. He's already been a little bit of selling going on in this game, so this is even better for the Ivory Netsuke Skiomi. As Zuccolo, a really, really nice defense over here, continuously using this palace, sniping units, keeping things competitive. Lots of wood and gold in the bank. Time to start putting palaces elsewhere, extra town centers and things like that. Soup has enough favor here for another new moon. If he wants to drop it on the armory, he's well within his rights to do so. Makes a lot of sense. Meanwhile, little cheeky raids coming through. Castle up to the top here for Soup as he's just trying to lock down these positions. He did have his other castle knocked down, so I mean, looks like Soup probably wants to get to the next stage. He does have 3 town centers though, to the 1 town center of Zuccolo. He is grabbing his second one, but he's very far behind on economy here. So in reality, the best way, whoop, jumpy Tengu just goes flying. The only real way back into this game, like solid way back into this game for Zuccolo, is to get some decent villager kills somewhere. Hitting this position, breaking the wooden gate, getting in here, or even sneaking around this way, getting onto this spot, locking off something. Just kill off 20 villagers somewhere on the map. Would be really nice. Soup now coming into the middle of the map here with a whole bunch of villagers. This is going to be a nice little catch here, as the Tengu has fallen in the main base there as well. But on the other side here, the army for Soup is getting closer and closer to full population. The palace is up though. Zuccolo will have his garrison shenanigans to help him out in this next fight. As the Arcus pulling back, diving through the palace. I don't know if Soup is going to care all too much about this. Zuccolo needs a lot more units out. He's got 0. He's got 3 villagers on food at the moment. So that's tough. Lots and lots of villagers on gold. But a great defense here actually from Zuccolo, as Soup cannot break through there just yet. Over onto this side, Arcus getting sniped. Where to next is the big question. Villagers coming forward, going to grab the settlement in the middle of the map. Yeah, Zuccolo is keeping himself in this game just by the fights he's taking being so good. However, Soup grabbing 4 town centers, having 30 more villagers, you can only do so much with just staying alive in these sorts of situations. Is there any point in making a whole bunch of destroyers right now for Zuccolo? And obviously the samurai are good versus them, but there are no samurai at the moment. It's the shinobi coming through here. Get that special in, and all of those Arcus die nearly instantly. Nice. Soup coming up. He gets his shinobi to snipe down the palace. They do a lot of damage. 31.4 crush. Of course, it's 15.7 crush per second, but still, it's a nice amount of damage there as the Clontarius get onto the back of him. Drops that special ability. Tries to pull back. Yuumi Archer versus Arcus. I think that's a favorable fight for the Yuumi Archers. Maybe? I don't actually know. I got no idea. But Carnivora gets dropped. And yet again, Zuccolo wins another fight here. As Soup just can't find his way through in this game. What unit should he be building? Or Yuumi, I guess. Or Yuumi would be really, really nice here. He's making the Shinobi to try and take out those Arcus. But is that really the right unit to be making? Is the question. Meanwhile, Clontarius raids will now start getting unleashed. Soup has 237 favor. Why does Soup have 200? I've seen this time, like there was the time Soup built 10 oracles with Uranus and he had like 1500 favor or something. There's the other time where he was playing a random ranked game and he had like 1500 favor. Is Soup just, is he not going to spend it? Does he not want to spend favor? Is spending favor bad? Is he saving it up for Omburaki? Or for, what are they called? Shinigami? Saving it for next game? He could be. But at the moment now, Soup just needs to put the clamps down. Soup just needs to put the clamps down onto Zuccolo. The Arcus now garrison micro onto the town center. So can't really break through that one just yet, he thinks. He's going to pull back. Castles are everywhere. Fortified town centers now coming through. Zuccolo has a lot of gold in the bank. How's the market situation? Can definitely buy some food here. It would be well worth it for him. Is the Arcus popping through? Montarius going to be joining in. Zuccolo trying his best to just garrison micro and win down massive amounts of military differential here. The Suppe still can't beat this army. Like, he's going Mythic Age now. He's going through Awkward Inushi. He's almost up to champion as well. And as the units here taking a huge amount of damage, does pull back to his town center. Continue his shoot and scoot shenanigans. Fortified town centers now through as well. Champion has come through for Suppe. Huge boost. Moving into the Mythic Age. I mean, there's options for like 3 extra Shogun or something like this if that's something that Suppe wants. Funnily enough, like throwing down 3 temples and just making a butt ton of... Actually, I mean, Ombaraki are a really good option against all these Arcus, right? Of course, they can heroize themselves, but that's a huge spend of resources. And Zuccolo, in the 28th minute, does call it. The constant defense here, just not quite able to stabilize. There was probably I think Zuccolo was in a really, really good position in this game. Like, really good. But a big mistake mid-game just sort of hurt a little bit too much. And I think it was this fight here. And this was the fight where he probably needed a whole bunch of Murmillo. But he didn't read. Like, okay, so Arcus do beat Yadi Spearman, right? Sure. But what beats Yadi Spearman? Well, sorry, what beats Arcus? Well, Tengu beat Arcus. Naginata Riders beat Arcus. There's so many other units. So you have to pick the right unit to counter. And the right unit, I think, there for Zuccolo was actually the Murmillo to deal with everything. Because the Murmillo would have had Bite of the Shark. Would have been able to heroize cheaply with, what's it called? The upgrade. The Oceanus upgrade. Forgotten what it's called. And probably been able to continue in the game in a much better clip. Of course, those Tengu propping up the economy of Suppe were absolutely huge to keep him going in this game, even though he was losing them. Yeah, that one big decision there from Zuccolo is probably the difference between him winning this game and losing this game. But nonetheless, we'll move back over to the draft and see what they're going to be picking. Suppe with his first win. Does take the dub with his Tsukiyomi as the Gaia ends up losing. Alrighty. And the next map is on Key. As I would be surprised if we don't see the Tsukiyomi here from Zuccolo. But they are currently in Champ Select. That's what it's called, right? The God Picker. They are in God Select as they are picking which gods they want to go and all the other good stuff. Only Uranus and Amaterasu can stop Suk. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I think there's more than that, but okay, we're going to see Kronos versus Ra. Zuccolo says a little bit of Ra for his key. Now, Suppe might have been watching the other day. There was a game we watched of Nyan Racing Cat versus Recon, right? And Recon got absolutely dumpstered with a kind of greedy, slow advance from Egyptian. So we'll see if Zuccolo is going to be prepared for this. Is the point. The sort of way to beat the really fast advance from Kronos is to do a pretty fast advance yourself. The very latest advancing at 4 minutes. That's the very latest, because that means you're advancing while he's attacking you, so you can happily sort of play around it, so to speak. The other thing is you probably don't want to use your temple as a blocker for your gold mine, because that's going to be the deconstruction situation. I mean, yesterday, maybe. Alrighty. So yeah, Kronos versus Ra. There's so many ways this can go wrong for the Kronos though, right? Like, of course, I think that the Automaton Lido idea is really strong. I also think that going for Prometheus here is really strong too. I'm not surprised to see Soup picking Thor and Freyr. I think the players right now who are saying Norse is weak, what they mean is like Odin and Loki are weak. I think Thor is really good right now. I think Freyr is situationally good right now. Before he was just good all the time. Now I think he's situationally good. So that's my takeaway from the whole thing. Anyways. Yeah, nice fast advance from Zuccolo will be very, very necessary here. Why 2 Norse? I mean, you've got Thor for potentially Ghost Lake. You've got Freyr for potentially Anatolia. You've got Amaterasu for like Steppe. You've got Nuwa for what? Is there a real good map for a Nuwa? I mean, it's a strong, maybe on Ghost Lake. Maybe flex Nuwa or Thor on Ghost Lake. Loki's bonuses are bad? I don't think they're bad. Like, they could get tweaked a little bit, but I don't think they're bad. Have you ever seen an ace pick mirror? Not yet. Why is there time difference between Twitch and YouTube streams? That's just the setting. Like, that's just how YouTube does it. So Twitch does come out first by probably like 15 seconds or something. And YouTube, yeah, YouTube's about 15 seconds behind Twitch. Any chance we see some 2v2 tournaments? Not hosted by me, no. There might be some other people who want to host team game tournaments, but that's not something that I'm doing at the moment. If we do see any tournaments from me in team game side, it'll be a 3v3 type thing. But I haven't got any plans to do a 3v3 tournament just yet. Alrighty. Let's jump into game number 2. Kronos versus Ra. Soup versus Zuccolo. Alrighty. In the left-hand corner of the map, playing as the blue Kronos. His name is Soup. And in the right-hand corner, playing as the red Ra. It is Zuccolo. So I have seen quite a bit of Ra on this map. I'm not exactly sure what the reason is. I guess one big advantage or one nice thing on this map is you kind of do always get a nice amount of berry bushes. So when Retold launched, we do a little bit of history here. When Retold launched, every map had a very similar amount of hunt in it, or food total. Like, in fact, I think it was 100% equal across the board. We are seeing some cows getting grabbed here. 100% equal across the board. Now, while the hunt is always pretty much the same, right? You're always going to get the same amount. Berries and chicken numbers do end up changing based on the map. So that is something to kind of keep in mind when deciding when to pick Ra and when not to. If you pick Ra on a map with less berries, you're going to have less of a bonus. One of Ra's bonuses is that he gets extra gather rate on the berries, which is always nice. Anyways, let's check out the relics. Over here, we've got the Fetters of Fenrir. This is going to be villagers' melee attack damage plus 30%. Over onto this side, there is the Harmonia's Necklace. Going to be an extra 10% there for the gold income. Over onto this side, we have Gungnir Odin's Spear. Bit of a bonus there onto the counter cavalry infantry units. And finally, Tower of Cestus to help against any sort of myth units. Now into the main base, I'm not sure exactly what we're seeing here, because what we're seeing from Suppe is a bit of a repeat here from the Nyan versus Recon game. Now, this is a strategy which everybody knows exists. This strategy's been around forever. We've literally seen this before the villager change. We saw people going for this type of thing. Now, after the villager change, everyone knows you can do a Chronos Rush 15 population. Suppe doesn't even care to hide it. His temple is in. The temple coming up for Zuccolo, he's got no gold. This is going to be so rough for Zuccolo. He's trying to get his food out. He still hasn't advanced. Of course, I did say a 4-minute advance at the very latest here could be fine, but I don't think we're going to see that. Zuccolo's in a lot of trouble here, I think. He also needs a few priests out as the automaton spawn in. A little bit of an animation cancel there from Suppe to get them going that little bit faster as he charges forward. And villagers now idle. Temple gets taken down. Star is on the way as the temple is getting shot back up over here. Villagers up to this top position to get a little bit of wood there as well. As he's going to dive through the tower, around onto the backside. Still trying to get this temple up. He can heal up his villagers if he wants to here as they're going to dive into the tower. There is not enough gold. One villager sniped there. There is not enough gold here for any priests. As the villagers pulling back, another snipe. As things are going incredibly good for Suppe with this rush. Villagers over here going to be pulling back. They have to all dive into the tower. They does manage to keep them alive for the time being. As Tar now hits. But so many idle villagers here. They're popping out some very low HP ones. Going to come over here and get his gold miners. We're going to be seeing an immediate Carabalister in as well. And Zuccolo now really needs something to help him continue in this game. Spider Lads gets dropped down as well. Carabalister here could get sniped by the Wadget. Perfectly reasonable way to approach that situation. And Zuccolo will be getting himself some more priests. Carabalister returning in. Now going to be seeing a little cheeky upgrade here with the Hephaestus Revenge. Is he heroizing? He does heroize the Carabalister there. Now there's no real threat with the Wadget. Now obviously you can get a couple of shots off, run, heal, that's fine. But realistically here, Zuccolo, he is going to be getting himself watchtowers. But what Zuccolo needs, first and foremost, as the watchtowers does come through, but Zuccolo needs units here. I see Automaton still staying nice and healthy. Can heal those back up as he pulls back. I'd love to see some, like, can he build walls here? Yeah, I'd love to see a wall segment, and then some houses here as well. But nonetheless, the counter barracks getting pulled back. Suppe behind this can think about going for a second town center now. He is 22 citizens to 14 here. As Zuccolo is really, really struggling. He's going to drop a barracks down as well. Waiting a couple of spearmen to come through. As the town center over onto this side. No surprises. Going to be going for that one. It's probably not as good as the one on the right. The one on the right's got a whole bunch of food here. That's very safe. Plus some relatively close gold mines. Lots of gold mine options over here. And some berry bushes behind this town center though. And realistically here, Zuccolo's best option, as far as I'm concerned, is to get his own town center up. You don't want to go mass barracks units here. You want to get your second town center up. You want to play a nice defensive game and just play for late game. If you can get to the late game through Horus, life gets really, really challenging for the Chronos. Of course, you have to make sure you get your gold mines sorted out and all that other, all those other things, but still. The villagers popping into the tower. A couple of Wadget shots to take out the automatons over here as they will pull back. Does manage to snipe one. A little trick here for those of you who's playing against the automatons. Just put a military building over the body of the thing, or just any sort of building. Granary, house. You can put walls over it as well. Whatever you want. That'll be able to lock it off. Maybe not the walls. Walls won't really work. But yeah, any sort of one of these buildings, and they can't repair it without killing it off, without alerting you that he's trying to get it back as well. Come on to the top. Zuccolo searching for oracles. He will spot one. There is one in the very top corner here, but he has to go directly up there. Nope, he doesn't spot it. The oracle actually does pull across there, so super paying attention. That's the spearman coming through and looking to take out some citizens and all the other good stuff. Soup notices, pulls back quickly. No real problems there. Oh, this Caraballister is going to be some bad news for these spearmen. He's unironically going after it. I don't even know if he can kill this thing. He's going to try. He's losing a lot of units for this. He does snipe it, and he loses another spearman. 1, 2, 3 spearmen for a Caraballister. I guess you take that trade if you are a Ra player. It's a hero Caraballister as well. I guess you take that trade. No problems. Now up onto this side, villagers all over the place on the berry bushes. Still checking out things like this gold mine, this town center. Villagers eating up the pheasants over here as he will sneak through. Does have himself that oracle spotting all this, so just a little bit of a raid going to be very annoying here. Probably will lose a villager or two. There's the army of Wadget, Slinger Spearmen pulling back here. Soup, probably his best bet is to just try and get to the heroic age if he can. There's one automaton goes down. Does pick off that one villager for it though, so not the worst of trades, not the best of trades either though, as the spearman charging forward. Missing these villagers on these berries is super unlucky, but like, why would your opponent be on those berries? Probably what Zuccolo is thinking. So he charges forward, sees the town center. Coming back. Soup does pull his citizens back the other way. He says, I don't want to risk it here. Let me get those back to safety. Can come into the center and eat some black bears. That's a perfectly reasonable food source there. Into the main base. Oh my god, low HP villagers getting sniped. So when you're up 2 town centers to 1, if you're managing to get villager kills, that is such a boost, such an advantage. Yeah, Soup's got 11. He's got 9 oracles out. They're not all in the right spot just yet, but he's just pumped them. I don't know what his plan is. Maybe there's a world where he masses Behemoth. I mean, alternatively, he can just go for a whole bunch of chaos or something like that. This citizen sneaking over here wants to grab that gold mine. Villagers in the center of the map. Very, very spicy standing there at the moment as the Oracle will be able to pull back. Meanwhile, Electron bullets to come through. I mean, surely there's going to be a Chaos or a Hyperion coming in and a whole bunch of Satyr. That kind of makes the most sense. It looks like the... Oh, still hasn't moved the Oracles just yet, but... A little bit preoccupied at the moment. I'm sure he'll move them later. It's not the worst thing in the world to just have them out, not really doing anything. One citizen does end up getting sniped, but it's a 60 to 30 villager difference. 60 to 30. Zuccolo swarming in here now. We'll be able to start harassing this gold mine. This is probably the best opportunity for Zuccolo to really get some advantages in this game. But I don't know if he has the army out. He does have a Shifting Sands to kind of keep himself alive here. Turns around, decides to take the fight. Caraballis over here going to be cleaning up Spearman quickly. Shifting Sands will come through for Zuccolo as he does escape. Moves over onto this side, however, still trying to take down as many citizens as he possibly can. Gets 4 citizen kills here. However, now he's losing units over onto this side. He can get fended off here, prevent the retreat of this batch of units. And more army charging to their death in the center here. As I'm sure Suppe, he's got his armory up. He's going to be heading Heroic Age. Just massed out a whole bunch of automatons, though. Definitely missing that second temple here. That would be huge. Now some villagers will make their way over onto this gold mine. Another temple does actually end up coming up. So he wants mass automatons, because why not? There's units driving over all of these spider lairs, but now it looks like Zuccolo in a bit of trouble. He's got 0 gold income, still behind by a double-digit villagers, 30 villagers, still behind by 30 villagers here. The army does look pretty strong. Catching out those Caraballister is going to be nice. I don't think Zuccolo knows how many spider lairs are here as the army charges over all of them. Going to be losing a lot of units to this. There's so much value from that, and we are actually finally going to see Hyperion on the way for Suppe. As he's got 9 villages on wood. It's plenty to start getting himself those Satyr out, and that is going to put a huge dent in the efficiency of this classical age Egyptian army. Zuccolo charging forward, trying to take out automatons and all the other good stuff, but Suppe, he just needs to be he can just be very slow here. He doesn't have to do anything. He's got the villager lead, wait on Chaos, and then he can take a big fight with a handful of Satyr, all those automatons. There's not really enough priests here. You see this amount of automatons and you think 5 priests is enough? Sorry, my friend. You probably need somewhere in the vicinity of like 20 priests here. Suppe charges forward. He could delete both of his barracks here if he wants. And he does come in. There's the Heroic Age. Satyrs will help out on the back. Chaos to get dropped down. And Zuccolo, no Shifting Sands, will end up losing all of his army here. There is no way he's going to be able to beat that Leto monster of an army. Taps out, and Suppe claims game number 2 here in pretty dominating fashion. Did he leave the Oracles there? They're still standing there next to each other, being twins. Twinning. This guy gets 0 favor. But obviously, yeah, the Suppe executed a really nice strat. Zuccolo maybe not aware of it for some reason. I can tell you that Ra can also advance at like 330. It's very, very easy to advance with Ra at 330 if you know what you're doing. And then this just completely shuts this strategy down. Of course, you don't know if the Chronos player is going for this fast advance or not. So you don't have to go for a 330 crazy advance, but, you know, like a, what would it be? 342 or something? 342 advance. That's probably what you want here. Nice and quick, enough time to get a whole bunch of gold in on the gold mine, get yourself out the extra priests, defend it, and you can think about getting your town center. And realistically, this matchup here for Ra, it's a matchup that, you know, every Atlantean player is going to think is unfair if you can get to that Horus, get to that strong army. It can be a really, really nice way to pull yourself back in the Horus army, Sekhmet slingers with Tar slingers as well, spearmen, accident, all the good stuff. But nonetheless, a well-played game here from Soup. We'll move back over to the draft and see if Zuccolo can get onto the scoreboard. Alrighty. Do you delay pickaxe for 4? No. 4 minutes, you can get a pickaxe. You can go pickaxe and monument for 4 minutes. But yeah, if you want to go for faster, you probably have to delay the pickaxe or delay the monument. Probably delay the monument. Zuccolo overcommitment with his army. I think he should have tried to play from behind than trying to catch up by building army. So he should have gone for that second town center and just tried to play from behind. I think that would have been the better idea. And it looks like we're going to see for game number 3. Oh my God, we're going to see Nuwa versus Tsukiyomi. I can already tell you this matchup is going to be silly. I have already seen Soup shenanigans here. They did not send me. I have this feeling they're already in game. They are. Okay. 150. Yeah, so one thing that Soup likes to do here with Nuwa is the Qualfu Rush. Super oppressive, really, really strong. And yeah. One way to play around this is to just get yourself out early Miko and just heal off the damage. It's not a problem. But yeah, that's the spiciness here for Soup. We'll see what he's going to go for. My favorite Pantheon to play fun-wise? Japan's pretty fun to play at the moment. There's a lot of options. It might just because it's my new toy, though. Probably Set is the one. Like anything with lots of options is my most fun Civ. Like a Civ that I can play a lot of different strats in. That's the fun Civ for me. I don't like playing the same game twice. I really don't like doing that. But nonetheless, we got Nuwa versus Tsukiyomi going to be jumping into game number 3 momentarily. We are going in onto the map Steppe here. A great map for Tsukiyomi, but we've got some spice coming your way with what Soup is probably going to be thinking about doing here. Alrighty. In the right-hand corner of the map, playing as Noir. His name is Soup. In the left-hand corner of the map, playing as Skiomi, also doing the little cheeky watermill start we saw from Soup. His name is Zuccolo. Tengu is ethical when versus China. I think Tengu is obviously ethical versus anything, right? It's a tournament. There's no ethics in a tournament. We get our win and we leave. Titan's treasure on the map here. Minor gods minus food and gold cost. Down to the bottom, we got the Thundercloud Shawl. Going to be making the PS armor of human soldiers go down in vulnerability a little bit. We got that little crow circle here. Armory weapon upgrades. Food cost minus 50%. And finally, at the top, there is the ring of the Nibelung. A little bit of gold trickle. Soup here going to be getting himself out another Qualfu. We'll see if he does decide to go for this. Like, did he send a... No. I feel like he would send his Pioneer straight forward and see what's happening in the main base if he was going to go for this idea. So we're not going to see him go crazy with his Qualfu. We're not going to see any of that. Now, this is game point here. If Soup wins this next one, he wins this series. He does have to break through one of the strongest gods in the game right now. Apparently. Allegedly. Relic should be pickable at age 3, not age 1. I actually like that call. That's totally fair. And then you could boost up their stats or whatever they do as well, and it would be totally fair game. I like that call, Mr. Appio Dici. Sorry if I brutalized that name. That's a good call. Nonetheless, they probably tried it in like early development, right? Because that was what it was in Age of Empires 2. And they thought, oh, maybe we don't like that one in Age of Empires or Age of Mythology. Anyways, a couple of gazelles going down over here as the slow advance coming in. We're going to see Soup doing the Soup. I think he might be. He's gone for an extra Qualfu. He's getting out his Qualfu Chieftain. And what is the Soup, you might ask? Well, that is where he goes for fast 4 Qualfu. And the reason he does this is because he wants to stay classical age. Or he might go heroic age, I don't know. But he wants to stay 1 town center. It's a huge amount of resources early on. One way to speed this all up would be to drop more houses nice and quick. That's going to get you a little bit more favor income as the next villager to come through. And I imagine there's going to be enough favor in for 1 more Qualfu to just squeeze through here if he wants to. Nope, he advances. Okay, he advances. A little bit of delay there on the advance. Doesn't want that extra Qualfu. A little bit too slow, he says. As Inari Orc Army to come through for Zuccolo. Meanwhile, stables coming up for Zuccolo. Over onto this side. Got a whole bunch of shrines. Left, right, and center for Zuccolo at the moment. He knows he's playing against a kind of slowish Civ. Inside of what Noir is. So he knows he can just get out onto the map, put his shrines down, and it's totally fine. The double stables here does mean that Zuccolo wants to stick it out in the classical age a little bit. But Soup is going to be able to drop down his earth wall. He might drop it over here, actually. I wouldn't be surprised. Like an earth wall on this side, so he gets a pretty easy town center grab. If that's what he wants, I don't really know. The town centers aren't the best for that sort of an idea. You'd rather put the earth wall down like maybe here or something to lock off this position. Meanwhile, villagers getting sniped over here as Soup a little bit slow on that recognition there. It does drop one villager early on, as we will have a military camp to come through. Pioneer in onto the main base, going after the Zuccolo here, but that will get pulled back. We'll be able to get healed back up. Nice snipe there for Zuccolo. Meanwhile, Soup says, okay, fine. Time to Earthwall. He's got himself his Quailfu coming through on auto queue. Military camp number 2 coming through, as well as military camp number 3 coming through. And a machine workshop as well. So it kind of looks like Soup is just waiting to see here. He's got a lot of resources in the bank. He can still drop a town center. This wall over here will end up going down as no real defense from Soup just yet. Tries to block that off with a silo there, but those are some speedy Naginata riders. Another villager going to be getting sniped here. That's the Pioneer. Going to go down. And Soup is in some trouble here. Really doesn't have that many units out. And these Naginata riders are just going to be causing so much chaos. He turns around and says, all right, I'll just throw some rocks. It's fine. Everyone to this side. The villagers on the food here will be the next target. As he'll pull over into the tower. Does manage to prevent the villagers from getting back. Great control from Zuccolo. 3 villager kills there. He loses 2 Naginata riders there for 3 villagers as Soup's trying to sneak over here, trying to lock this position off. He does build it up quickly with the house as a swampland gets dropped down. And this house is just going to be getting repaired back up. And after all the damage there that Zuccolo does manage to do, he loses all of his units. He's behind 3 villagers after all is said and done. And now he's also behind a swampland. Now we see Dojo and an armory in the main base here. It's looking like this is going to be looking towards the heroic age. And also, Soup probably wants to do the same. Reason, Zhang Xia will slow the herding of the Tengu, and also a Sage or 5 will be a great answer for those as well, because you can steal them and then you can use the Tengu for 8 seconds or so. Meanwhile, Zuccolo playing with fire here. Out in the center hunt. He does have his Yurigumo in, so at least he'll be able to pick off, say, like a dude or something. He does charge forward. Definitely worth it to just turn around and snipe one halberdier, but looks like Soup goes, I'm scared of that on the Musha. Let me run away. Villagers will move back over onto these chickens. No problems. Has the resources now for the heroic age, and Hachiman is queued up. On the other side here for Soup, he says, I'm going to start spamming halberdier, fire archer, pioneer. Now, here's the thing. Fushi and Shenong, they're actually quite good against this specific strategy. One of the reasons is because you have lightning weapons, which will be able to stun up the Shogun, and you can actually take him out with a whole bunch of units really, really easily, right? But Nuwa doesn't have that. So you have to be thinking more along the lines of... let's pick up one of those halberdier. You have to be thinking more along the lines of DPS. How do I actually DPS down the Shogun as the Yurigumo does get sniped? Tower is now getting converted. Now the Tengu going to be in, and there's 2 options here. Obviously, you're going to either drop this new moon down onto the armory, as we see copper shields coming through, and the next one coming in as well, or you can drop it down to the temple and get yourself all those upgrades. It does already look like Zuccolo has just bought Ivory Netsuke here. He's already bought it. Now he's going to grab the aesthetic practices, and he says, I don't need to care going to drop his Shogun, and he will probably be dropping that that new moon onto the armory once he's finished off the copper weapons here. Meanwhile, over onto this side, town center up for Soup as an Imperial Academy on the way for more pioneers. However, he doesn't actually go for his bronze weapons here. There's no real rush there. He could have just bought it, but he's looking for a little bit of pressure up onto this side. I mean, diving into the main base of these Tengu is completely valid here. It's like a 10-second cooldown from memory. So they'll be able to do quite a bit here as he has to actually manually go for it though, as up onto this side. A little bit of an attack to come through. All the pioneers just hanging out onto this top position. And Soup here onto TC just has to sit. Sit back, wait, and pray that he can react to these Tengu raids and that he can deal with the numbers of Tengu that are coming for him. A little bit of an attack to come through as those Force Archers are going to be getting a nice amount of damage. Good control there from Zuccolo as he's dodging all the Pioneers. Now the Shogun to come through, getting more damage done as well. As the Tengu diving in past the Earth Wall. Not ideal here for Zuccolo in the slightest. He's going to have to just turn and fight. He's getting a huge amount of gold for it though, as he does then say, all right, out of there. He can retreat those Tengu back to his main base and heal them with a Miko, or even build a Miko, even better, build a Miko and send it into the center here to start healing up everything. We do have now Soup going up through Gormang. We'll have now access to some stronger units like the Chuko Nu, also the cavalry as well. As the villagers up on this top spot will all be going idle. Like here's my take with the Tengu. And maybe you can say I'm silly, but I think you should turn this off, autocast. And you should just be using it manually. At the very top level, I think players are capable of it for sure. And as soon as you don't even get it, you don't get much damage from the actual on-hit effect, so just use it manually. Oops, so we do have the Earth Wall to come through. That's going to catch Soup out. He can shoot down this Earth Wall pretty quickly. It doesn't have any stats on it, or half stats when it's building, I'm not sure. But anyways, Zuccolo going to be able to get out of there for the time being. There is, this is not out of there. These units are stuck here. These units are absolutely stuck here. He's trying to just get as many kills as he possibly can from this one. Into the front here, though. A castle gets dropped from Zuccolo. Losing all of these horse cav is not part of the plan. Great usage of that second Earth Wall for Soup here. The Tengu weren't healed. Hello? He sent them back to the Miko. The Miko stood there enjoying her 0.05 favor per second, and he did not heal them. He's going to send them back now. Okay. There's enough favor in the bank here for I don't know how many, but the question is, do you just bank it up and then sort of hide your building them, hide them back, spam them all out, and then in an instant take the fight when Soup's got only 2 pioneers out? Or are you just going to get another daimyo or an extra swampland? But with he gets another daimyo. Why not? Why not 2 daimyo? That's perfectly fine and reasonable. There's more Yumi horse archers wandering forward here. The villager differential is pretty big. It's going to take a long time to actually break through all of these earth walls right now. These Yumi are very tough actually for Nuwa to break through. The correct response to Oyumi is generally going to be Cav or a certain type of myth unit. So, for example, what are some good myth units you can use here? The The Yatsu is probably going to be fine to jump in here. The Baihu, a whole bunch of Tao Wu. These guys aren't bad with that special. They do a lot of damage with that special, running over the Oyumi. You have to build them. You have to build quite a few of them, though. There's no real favor at the moment for Soup. And obviously, you don't really want to build myth units into the double Shogun here either. So the Oyumi get pushed back, but they will get... Look, they get a huge amount of damage done as the wall's getting broken down. Zuccolo looking to push forward here. Forest protection does get dropped as the Tao Wu comes through and disrupts everything there. A couple of extra Yumi archers do end up going down as another town, or a second town center for Zuccolo coming in onto this position now. Yeah, I mean, at the moment, what Soup really needs, and he is making them, is Horse Archer. And the Horse Archer are going to be really good versus the Shogun because they've got high DPS. Now Zhang Xia to come in. The Sage also coming through. I mean, this is going to be a nice raid, actually, for Zuccolo. Is this the only gold mine? I think this is the only gold mine that Soup has. So he can shoot this gold mine from over here if he wants to. But he decides against it. Going to come back over onto the middle base here. Break down more of the earth walls. A couple more dojos coming down onto the front for something. Not exactly sure what. Now we are going to be seeing a couple more Tengu getting trained through as well as the hooves of the wind to come through. Slowly here for Soup. He's at full population. Getting to the Mythic Age would be ideal. Li Jing, a must grab here to help out. Plus also Great Flood would be huge. And Soup does decide to go for the Gong Gong in the main town center. This is a little dangerous. We'll see if it's going to be working out for him. Samurai getting built as well. I don't really know what the Samurai are going to be particularly good at here. Zuccolo says it's time to take the fight. He has to take a fight while this is all going on. As the Shogun do manage to get in and actually see Soup deleting the Tao Wu there, so he doesn't give too many samurai away, but Soup has to pull back into his base now. Turns and slowly start taking out those Yumi archers there, Yumi horse archers. But the main town center is now going to be under attack from those Oyumi. He's got about a minute to clean it up. Is there enough stuff here? These Shogun are not taking damage here. This is the big thing. So many samurai are going to be getting spammed out here for Zuccolo. But Zuccolo has to pull back. Meanwhile, villagers making their way over onto this gold mine, sneaking that one there a little bit. We'll see if Zuccolo can survive this next problem that's coming his way. A couple stables coming up in the middle of the map for Zuccolo as Soup moving forward. We'll get greeted by all these units. We do have a great flood coming through, but great garrison micro there from Zuccolo. Soup doesn't get anything from this. I mean, he kills off all the buildings, I guess, but... A third town center in the middle here for Zuccolo as he's trying to just get his economy into gear. He is behind by like 30 villages. but he's got map control to some degree. The villagers over here are going to be dropping their walls. Any raids up onto this top side, it would be absolutely huge. We are seeing these Yumi horse archers checking out onto the right side. Always there's a black spot. There's always a black spot as the villagers will come over here. They will see the wall. They will see a Qinglong. And that's got to be a little bit of an obvious thing there. Qinglong does end up getting killed off trying to go after villagers there, but not able to do all too much. Meanwhile, upgrades, East Wind, Stonewall, Flood Control, Burning Pitch, more Quaofu. I actually can't believe Suppe is still building Quaofu. How many does he have? He has 16 Quaofu. I think that's the most I've ever seen. Look at the wood income for Suppe right now. You see a Swampland getting dropped down into the center of the map here. Also, a little cheeky ballet coming up onto this side as the peasants are going to come over here, clay peasants as well, to help out. But it's like Suppe not able to win this fight just yet. Too much firepower here from Zuccolo. As the clay peasants come down to grab this position, does Zuccolo see the ballet? He does see it going up, and he will catch it here. Is he going to be fast enough to take all the villagers down? It looks like he will be. And that's going to be a nice denial on that gold mine. As Zuccolo here, all he has to do is hold these two positions. And then what are you going to do? These 12 will finish up on this gold mine. Suppe has to be able to win a fight here at some point. He is making himself champion Tiger Cavalry, though. That's going to be a tough unit for Zuccolo to deal with. The samurai into the front here. Nice little front line. Javelin is here. Not the best micro here from Suppe. He's got to be targeting down that back line. Now he is, and that forces the Yumi horse archers back. But Zuccolo continuing to pump units out. The Lijiang in does make things very, very difficult on the myth unit front. There's the Shogun baiting in. Naginata Riders coming through as well. Champion upgrades are going to be on the way very, very shortly here in this game. Are there any upgrades here that can be grabbed from Zuccolo? Not really. He can get himself some faster training here, which wouldn't be a bad idea. As the Quaofu, oh my god, they're going to put this up so quick. There's so many Quaofu here. It's like an instantaneous ballet with that many Quaofu. He does lose a couple of them. Champion Yumi Archer, or Champion Bushido, the next tier of Bushido does come through. As the Quaofu are saying, hello there, let us fling some rocks in onto this spot. Suppe with 0 gold in the bank. All the units here in the world for Zuccolo holding this position. A castle up, 2 castles up over here as well. Some Oyumi wouldn't go astray here for Zuccolo in the slightest. Suppe's Quaofu ends up going down, and now he's got 0 gold in the bank. He can sell food. He can sell food for a little bit. He's already sold all the wood in the world. As the Quaofu popping back over onto this side, but the Shinobi, they're out. The castle will be going down. And Suppe losing tons as he decides, well, unable to win that one. He taps out. Zuccolo stays in the series here. Oh my god. That was so close. I think Suppe had this game without question. He just sort of was a little too cavalier with securing this gold mine. And obviously that Great Flood was not very well clicked. He definitely had a really, really nice position in this game without question. But you can see no lead is safe in Age of Mythology. Comebacks possible all the time. Even behind on village account. Just like good control from Zuccolo. I mean, the units killed loss will tell the entire story, right? Look at this. 223 to 141. 141 here. Nonetheless, a well played game for Zuccolo. We'll move into game number 4 and see what's going to happen. Alrighty. Looks like we're going onto the map Anatolia for game 4. And it's going to be a Freya versus Isis matchup. Freya game 4 versus Isis game 4. Oh. Oh. Seamus, I'm a little tired today. I mean, we saw both of those Tsukiyomi games where it was almost a win for the other player. It just goes a little bit different. A little bit different. Hold on. Guys, I'm gonna be right back. Give me a hot second. Alrighty. Where are we up to? Game number 4. Freya versus Isis on Anatolia. Alrighty. Jumping into game number 4 here, as Suppe is going to be playing Freya, and Zuccolo is going to be playing Isis. Let's go. be in the left-hand corner of the map. Frere for Soup. Isis for Zuccolo. Map is Anatolia. As the villagers make their way over onto the right-hand corner of the map. Both players going for the same start. Now, the hard part here for Norse is you don't have the scout. You don't have the time to really know whether you should build a second dock on the same side or if you should go to the other side. So the best you can do is build this house immediately, rush forward, and if you see no dock here, then you build the dock. I mean, you could also get a fishing ship out, send that forward and scout what's going on. That's perfectly fine and reasonable as well. We are actually going to see Soup going for that here. Charges forward. He needs to know. It's a very, very stock standard situation here. On the other side here for Zuccolo as well, he should probably be sending the priest forward to see what's happening so he knows what to do. But it might end up that both players are somewhat similar here. As Soup continues forward. And he will see the dock, which means... Okay, off to the other side. I imagine he's already clicked like directly over here. Has he? I can't see a flag, but he's going over this side. Okay, on the other side here now for Zuccolo, one thing that's super important is to actually get this gold income in really quick. There's actually no need to have 3 villagers on wood here with Egyptian on this map. Did I miss something? Did I miss something? Okay, anyways, yeah, you want to only put 2 villagers on wood so that you can get the gold in as fast as you can, so you can get that second dock up as fast as you can, as Soup is being very naughty here with his second dock right on Zuccolo's fish. There's obviously big advantages for Norse. Only Norse can do this because they don't really lose out on the Berserk moving around the map and not gathering any resources, but the Isis will lose out on something as she's going to have to move forward here and drop the dock over onto this spot. Okay. So, a couple relics on the map. See if there's anything half decent. Thundercloud sure going to be nice here for our player. Oh, for our Isis won't really help much. I have Ornlu over here as well. Going to be making the counter infantry units get a little bit more damage. Over on this one, the Nose of the Sphinx, always nice. A little bit of hit points increased on the buildings. And we do have Kui Drum. Should make those heroes get a little bit more damage as they get closer to death. Do you see a second dock on the same side here for Zuccolo? Not sure that's quite ideal. Temple coming up for Zuccolo in the main base as well. He's looking for a fast-ish advance. He's got the food already in for the advance as well. He just needs that temple up. One idea here would be to force drop the villagers, come over here and power that temple. I think he's going to have the temple up anyways in time, so it will be about a 4-minute 15-ish. 4-minute 18-second-ish. I don't even know. As Bast got a choice here for Zuccolo. Zuccolo now moving his villagers up to the top. He will spot this dock here as he's dropping his dock right next to it. And Soup is going to be enjoying the majority of this fish over here. And so the main base ordered the temple up, and it will be Ulla. No surprises here for Soup. As I imagine he's probably going to drop his first Asgardian Bastion just into his main base. Doesn't even have to build it. Just let it build itself, so to speak. More docks coming down for Zuccolo over here. He might try and move forward and drop another dock here, but things get a little bit spicy. Like if I'm... Of course you have to build this, but if I'm Soup, I'm thinking, let me send my Hersa up here and deny this or something, right? Nonetheless, another dock coming over here for Zuccolo as he will be building out immediate ramming galleys, trying to put immediate pressure onto Soup. I mean, at the very least, you might kill off some fishing ships over here. Probably not going to get the ones onto this side. So Hersa coming up, going to be looking for another dock onto this side. And those fish will just simply pull back into the dock, and immediately Soup pulls. So nothing going to be possible to take out here, but an immediate war barge to come out. That's going to start, at the very least, cleaning up this dock. There's the Sphinx wandering around here. There is going to be a Hersa already in position there to send that one packing. Longboat's popping out onto this top side. Now 3 war barges out. That's a big commitment into those, as Soup will have to get out his own Drekkie. Charging in with the ramming galley as well, very dangerous because at the moment the dock is actually targeting down the war barge. All of that pierce armor, 60% means it's probably not going to take all too much damage. So this dock does look like it's going to be falling, but here's the thing: Soup could just keep putting docks down all the way. Into the main base. The Sphinx survives. Next to no HP, the Draugr gets caught out. A couple of Axemen are out as well, as the Longhouse is coming down for Soup in his main base now. The ramming galleys charging in here. Just getting little bits of damage done. I can't really take the fight. Well, Soup can't really take the fight just yet. More Drekkie to come through, however, will make things a little bit difficult, as we have got a cheeky little couple of cabinets now coming through. And the fishing ships can pull back into the docks to help out on the defense. But sniping those war barges nice and quick here is huge. And Soup doesn't have to win the fight here. He just has to keep on preventing anything bad from happening. Into the middle of the map, however, the Axemen getting some huge value, as Soup's going to be dropping a couple of infantry units. There are those throwing Axemen in, though, which can be a nice little defense. There's some more cabinets now coming through for Zuccolo, but Nephthys on the way for Zuccolo. He does have only 1 monument at the moment, so not really any really any opportunity to spam out those Leviathans or anything like that to try and find an edge on the water where that's concerned. Drops his prosperity down. Only had 1,000 gold left in it, so it might expire before the end of this prosperity. Got to be careful with that one. I mean, on top of this here, one idea for Zuccolo, as onto the bottom we are seeing some raids. One idea for Zuccolo here is to actually grab this technology here, the heavy ships, immediately. And that can be a big advantage on the water. We do have A gear pre-queued, as Soup is going to be chasing ever so slightly here. Gold mine will finish up, but you can just move over here. You can run forward, drop a Migdol stronghold or something. Generally speaking, against Freyr, one of the best ways you can play against him is to jump straight to the Mythic Age and get yourself that Valley of the King's tech, Meteor, etc., etc. But on Anatolia, it doesn't really tend to work all too well. Good control here from Zuccolo, as he does manage to tank up against those Drekkie. No real control from Soup at the moment, as all those boats are going to be falling. Great trades there for Zuccolo for the time being. There's the Leviathan. Move forward, slowly start chomping down on that dock. Like, the only problem here is, while Zuccolo is getting good trades, he is behind on the fishing ship numbers, right? 15 versus 11. Of course, there are maybe a couple of fish idle here, so maybe it is pretty close. 11 versus 12 or something like that. Aegir in. Migdol Stronghold up over here. We are going to be seeing a couple of Krakens getting built here for Soup. There's no real great answer to the Krakens just yet. I mean, maybe the ramming galleys aren't terrible, but he has to get that heroic fleet upgrade in. And over onto the bottom side, a Kraken's going to be helping out here as well, as he snipes down the higher HP of the two war barges, going after the fishing ships now as well into the main base here. However, the Axemen coming through. Yes, the Sphinx and Scorpion are here, but 3 Hersa on top of them. Those Axemen need to be taking them out, but does force these units back for the time being. A nice fight here for Zuccolo as Soup has to pull back. As the Hersa during this this taunt able to take every one of those myth units out there, but the rock giant does also die, and Soup to pull his army even further back. We have that Kraken charging forward. Yes, there is heroic fleet, so it should be going down. Over onto this side as well. Zuccolo has to decide, do I defend this? Or do I just try and do everything in the main base? Ancestors Eclipse getting dropped onto this position. Hersa are in. 2 Hersa only here. As the Chariot Archers can snipe them down, the Slingers can snipe them down, and now all the units popping out here for Soup are going to be getting picked off as they spawn. So this is a lot of value here for Zuccolo with Ancestors Eclipse. Meanwhile, searching down into the main base, going to be looking for some villagers to snipe as well. And Soup will pull everything into the town center. So a big amount of idle time also caused for something like 20 seconds here. Behind this, Siege Workshop to come through. Going to try and siege his way through. There will be a Tempest still available, however, for Soup. Soup does not have to panic just yet. He's got a little bit of gold remaining here, 1,500. Over onto this side, still pushing forward. Look to take out some fishing ships and things like that. Pretty rare technology carrier pigeons coming in, as we've got the Asgardian Hill Fort getting dropped into the main base. And siege towers to come through will make things very, very tricky here for Soup. And you don't want to build too many of these, because if your opponent gets enough units out, Tempest, you're just going to lose them to that, right? The 1 or 2 siege towers here to just break down these buildings is going to be a huge amount of help. The attack happening yet again, but 1 Kraken coming through. No, Zuccolo not paying attention there, as it finally pulls back after losing nearly the entirety of the fleet, and will be losing the war barge to these Drekki as it gets chased down. But I guess at this point, Zuccolo just needs to say, all right, we're going for a gold starve in the center of the map. Let's pump everything, as much stuff as we can. Our opponent has really spent in onto Kraken, onto Myth unit, onto units that aren't going to help him get himself to a gold mine. The villagers sneak over here. Zuccolo doesn't have eyes on that, though. So some nice resources come forward. Chariot Archer searching around here. He will spot it with the Chariot Archer on this top side. Now there is heavy upgraded cavalry here as well, so that's going to be a bit of a problem. As the Tempest gets dropped, and the units here will have to pull back, and Soup lives another day on this gold mine. These units over here just hanging out. Zuccolo has a second town center up. When did he grab that, and why? Just build buildings. Get the villagers on this hunt in the middle. Now Soup is broken out. He's going to be killing off the villagers of Zuccolo. And Zuccolo is the one who has to be on the defense instead of going for this gold star that was looking amazing. And Soup just cleaning units left, right, and center now. I don't know what else can be done here. A second hill fort coming up in the center of the map for Soup. Having lost basically all of his fish here, he's still trying to deal with krakens and things like that on the water. He's going to be losing his gold, and with only 1,000 gold left over here and not much look at the difference in military resource value. This game looks to be over for Zuccolo at the moment. The raiding cavalry will come in, doing what they can, charging it after those red units of Zuccolo. There's more rock giants to come in, going to be able to take down the Migdol. Yeah, big blunder there, unfortunately, for Zuccolo. I think if he saved one town center and maybe got an extra Migdol out or something, grabbed this food, actually made a whole bunch more units. It's sort of been very, very difficult, I think, for Soup. But now Soup is in full control. He's got full army. He's going to come in and clean this town center. He's got eyes on... Well, he's not building this anymore, but he's got eyes on these 3 gold mines as well. He's got a pre-queued Vidar coming through. There's more upgrades on the way here for Soup. Bronze armor, bronze weapons. The Berserk's just slipping through here. You can see them getting dealt with and all the other good stuff there. Townsend going to finish up the Soup as well. He's going up to the Mythic Age. He's got, like I said, full control. Another hill fort. Walls over here as well. Zuccolo's still got a little bit of gold remaining, so he's going to be pumping out those axemen. A couple of priests out as well to try and deal with the rock giants. He stopped the town center. Oh god, there's a lot of raiding cavalry there. Huge counter for those axemen. At least I think they are. There might not be a counter for the axemen anymore. Anyways, the Jarl definitely are. As Zuccolo has to turn. He has to take this fight. He's got to win this fight. I don't think he has the units here to make it happen. Sniping down the rock giants as well as the units go completely AFK during that chaos there. Or that taunt, I should say. At least the Scorpion meant to go after the Rock Giant will get some pretty hefty damage done. And it does actually look like Zuccolo, he's doing okay on this fight. He just has 0 gold income. And where else can he get gold now? It's now... Basically, Zuccolo has to move on to this gold mine, right? Here, or maybe here. Walls are just up everywhere. Soup at the moment, does he have his buildings? He's got 5 longhouses, 3 great halls, 4 Asgardian hill forts, so he can pump a whole bunch of units out. But does he need to is the question. Villagers coming through onto this position to shank down the hill fort, maybe grab this one, but there is also still the hill fort over on the back there as well to have to deal with. But I don't think Zuccolo knows that. Well, he does know it actually. As the Inferno coming through. Hitting everything. Villagers get sent flying as half of them do end up falling after they land. And Zuccolo, in the 19th minute of this game, does decide to tap out. And that will be the win there for Mr. Husk Soup. So a really well played game here. Really well played series from both players as well. But Soup proving to be just that little bit too strong in this one. I do think if Zuccolo had maybe stayed one town center, maybe put another Migdol down instead of the town center at the back, and maybe grab this food in the middle rather than going so heavy in onto wood, he probably would have had a nice army out to actually push back when Soup moves forward onto this gold mine. Of course, that tempest is always going to be there. You just ebb and flow it, Okay, Tempest comes through. All right, we run back into one of our Migdols. We keep fighting, and then we can push back in and deal with that. But going for that second town center just kind of puts the nail in the coffin. You lose the water, or basically have lost the water. You put a second town center down, which costs you gold, and then it also is going to be draining you 200 food every minute or something. It's a little bit less than that now, but you know what I mean. So it's a little bit of a tough one to make things work there. But nonetheless, well played. If you guys enjoyed, make sure you hit the follow button. All the other good stuff. We're going to be moving into a recorded game next. So stick with me. But that is, we're going to be watching the Mini Yeti versus Matrius series. So little cheeky break as we set everything up. And I'll see you guys after the clips. The Hephaestus Revenge technology is not in. Priests slowly sniping down those automatons here. Population differential. Very, very close. Both players losing units left, right, and center. The Pharaoh coming through, not getting taken down. Those slingers now taking down units beautifully here. And Mosca defends the big attack. Hephaestus Revenge too late to come through. He can drop the Ghoul and Bursty in here as well. Does decide to do so. Pushing in to take out a whole bunch of that front. Look at the damage from the Ghoul and Bursty. Gareth deciding to fight this one is absolutely insane. He has to just say, no worries. It's fine. We'll just run into the Migdol stronghold. He gets those catapults back to safety, but the front line falling is absolutely gigantic here. As the Chariot Archer's pulling all the way back in onto this spot. The Ghoul and Bursty still getting damage done. That area of effect auto attack damage is absolutely insane. Now Aetherial charges in. He is fighting under 3 Migdol strongholds, but the portable ram's coming through. If he gets onto the Titan Gate, it's all over. You can't finish that one. 40 seconds remaining because he hits every villager. He kills every villager with the strikes. Does Chasing the Sun see this? Not just a huge hit onto the Toxotes. He takes them all out. Eric is 70% here. He sees the Titan Gate. 20 seconds remaining. He's got to click on it though. He has to click on it, and now he's making his way over there. Disaster for Eric. 18 seconds remaining. The villagers will start to die. They've got a huge amount of HP. 13 seconds. Is it going to be? He drops Tempest. Is that going to be enough? He's going to be healing. The restoration from Eric. 5 seconds remaining. 2 seconds. The Titan falls and the game is over. Can Hells break through here or not is the big question. Lots and lots of Halberdier. Should be very, very strong here, but the Chaos gets dropped down. The healing, though, from those Chillin is going to be an amazing assistance for Hells. It looks like he's able to completely dominate this army. I did say that those Terma were not of any value there for Zuccolo. But now, Hells... Imagine Forest Fire! He doesn't have the favor for a recast. The Wadgets caught out. 3DB here is going to be losing big on this fight. It looks like the Spearmen coming in onto the back line. The throw and action, great control there from Hell's Ravage. But doesn't matter. I don't think it does matter. Hell's head first into this army, loses the entirety of his raiding cavalry force. The choke point was too insanely powerful, and all of a sudden, Hell's Ravage is the one on the defense as 3DB manages to clean the army. Ghoul and Bursty is in, trying to take out these units here. The Tempest on top of all of these units, is it going to be enough, is the question. All of those Hippias seem to be melting to the Herdmen. The Cyclops also getting frozen up here, but Hell's army does seem to have taken some significant damage. Looks like the infantry are out of position. The Caraballista are getting collapsed onto here, as this is a huge fight now for Hell's Ravage. He gets himself a Draugr over onto the side. There's no answer for the throwing axe for now, as all the Caraballista are getting demolished as even with that beautiful choke point, it's just not going to be enough. This one, he charges through. You have to keep going. He doesn't go over the Caraballas. It does not get that value as the Terma trying to get onto the back line there, but they are in a pretty good position there. Caraballas getting some big damage on as the Yartser to charge forward. Yet again, B trying to take this fight off of Lush as the Tawu does go down. Population-wise now, however, it is looking like B is managing to hold on. The Terma are doing work on that backline, and Hell's Ravager's army melts there. Is this going to be... Surely not. He's going to be dropping Earth Wall on the front here. Really? That's wild. He's got it set up. He's getting the double military camp up. The force set is on the way. Earthwall gets chopped down. You could bring the villagers over here to shank this wall down, but Nullus, he says, I don't have it. I don't have that. I don't have that in me. I'm gonna retreat. Are back. Yay. So we're going to be watching some recorded games right now of the Matrius Mini Yeti series. So they played yesterday. So anyone who does know the results, please just be quiet. And anyone else who does not know the results and wants to watch it with me, please watch it with me. But yes, these are recorded games. I'm not going to repeat myself. If you want to tell anyone else that they're recorded games in chat, you can. But we've got ourselves the draft here. We've got ourselves the games here. Let's have a little look-see at it. Alrighty, so on the left here for Matrius, both players picking Tsukuyomi again. I think we're seeing a little bit of a trend here, guys. A little bit of a couple of Tsukuyomi games, maybe. We got the Isis there for Matrius as his first pick. Minieti grabs Set and Fushi next. Then Matrius grabs Poseidon Frere. Minieti grabs Shenong and Gaia. Matrius then takes Zeus and Loki. And finally, the Kronos. Our first game is going to be a Fushi versus Isis affair. So some spice for game number one. Alrighty, let's go. And to the left-hand corner of the map, we do not have Matrius there. We have Mini Yeti, as he is the blue player for whatever reason. At least he's player one and not making my life very, very confusing. And he's playing Fushi, yes. And Matrius on the right-hand corner will be playing some Isis here. So it is Bamboo Grove. I sort of was trying to figure out what the map was called, and for some reason I just couldn't really recognize what was going on. But Bamboo Grove is the map. Over onto this side, we've got ourselves the Pygmalion statue. That's going to be hit points plus 40% there. Up to the top, there is the Chariot of Sibel, which is a pair of golden lions will periodically appear at your temple and respawn if killed. Down to the bottom here, we have Staff of Dionysus. It's going to be a little bit of regeneration rate for the villagers. And finally, it's Sharon's Obol, giving some food back, gold back, wood back, whatever the villager may be, if you end up losing it. Alrighty. So matchup-wise, what are we going to see here? I kind of think Isis can still just get away with a nice big fat boom and just, or big fat 2TC play and then just put the pressure on, right? Then again, Mini Yeti is also known for being very aggressive. He's I remember when he was playing on that fortifications patch, he was loving it because he was just doing the most stupid of strategies. Now they probably wouldn't work against like the high levels, but he was doing some really, really aggressive stuff to try and break through everything before all the mess actually starts. So I don't know if he's still going to be doing that here. He has got a couple of cheeses up at the back of his belt. In his bag. He's got a little bag of cheeses that he's got all worked out together. But just because he has those cheeses doesn't mean he has to use them. He can threaten the cheese, not do it, opponent overreacts, and all that other good stuff. But in the main base here for Matrius, just going to be dropping his temple. He's going to be getting himself his upgrades. He does have already the Flood of the Nile and already has the pickaxe. So a bit of a late advance here for Matrius seems to be the case. And Chiyao on the way here for Mini Yeti very, very quickly. I almost think... No, I think Zhen Nui might actually be the more solid option here because you've got that Vanish to deal with Ancestors. So when Ancestors eclipse your economy, you just group all your villagers up that are in that position and vanish and then just go back to work. And then the minions will be like, wait, hang on, I can't kill any of these. And then they die. Nonetheless, Bast, the god of choice here for Matrius. We have been seeing a lot of ISIS players going Anubis lately. A lot of ISIS players going Anubis lately. So, Bast in this matchup, we'll see how it's going to go. Obviously, Ancestor Eclipse is going to be an option. This sort of looks odd on the Matrius side. I can't really pick what he's going for. Technically speaking, he's got 6 on food with that Flood of the Nile. And he's got 6 on gold here. As the Golden Lions to come forward. We'll see the Sphinx taking a couple of smacks here as he has to turn around and actually get a little bit of damage back onto that one, but you can just heal that Sphinx back up. No problems. As long as he doesn't lose the priest, it should be fine. As you do see a barracks already getting dropped. Another priest going to be coming in here to help out. As well as no Sphinx will be dying today. Oh, got to be careful. Pioneer turns around. That's a dead Sphinx. 1, 2, miss. 3, 22 HP. Okay, kills both the Gold Lions. The Pioneer survives. Now, Najjar, Fire Archers are out. And we will be seeing a little cheeky particle fight from both players. That's the Spearman over here. Burning alive as he's going to be retreating into his main base. Armory popping up for Matrius. He's still going to be pumping a whole bunch of stuff out. We'll be seeing the Spearman going down as there's really not a lot of units out for Matrius. He's trying, what it looks like, it's trying to get to the Heroic Age, which is very dangerous. I mean, maybe if he gets Watchtowers in, it's fine. But he can't go for like a naked fast Heroic in this. It's not even naked, but a handful of units on a fast Heroic here. But he's going to be trying. And there's that Watchtower, as you were saying. He needs that one in. Over onto the other side, more buildings down for Mini Yeti. He is going full send at the moment. There's little bits of damage to come in. Slingers pop forward. Loses one Slinger, but does pick up a Pioneer there. And soon we will see Heroic Age coming through for Matrius, but he does have a back gold mines. Maybe this is totally fine. He can just drop the Migdol sort of in front of his, or maybe not even in front of the gold mine, just in his main base next to his town center, move back onto this gold mine, no problems. and then slowly mass up an army that can beat this army. As one villager goes down. Sphinx coming in over onto this spot here as the Najjar slicing down a slinger, but still not going to be able to get a whole bunch done here. A lot of villagers on gold now for Matri, so he will be able to get himself up the immediate Migdol. But like, what sort of units do you want to go here from that Migdol is the question. And yet he also actually already grabbing himself his Peach Blossom Spring as he also wants to go to the next stage. He's deciding new bar. We've actually been seeing him go new bar quite a bit recently. Very interested to see what that's all going to be about. As the Migdol into the center of the map here, Matrix might be wanting to get onto this gold mine, but he has no real reason to do so. Like, if you're playing like a 1 town center fast heroic versus a 2 town center fast heroic, you normally got all the map to just play with. You can get the Migdols up where you want, right? But if it's a 1 town center versus 1 town center sort of situation, then you don't need to rush this. You just spent on tech, so you need to start massing units out and playing nice and safe. But Matrius, he's going for this gold mine, and Mini Yeti can very, very easily decide to take a fight here. As Prosperity gets dropped, a little cheeky siege works coming through here as well. There is the market, so we can buy some resources if need be. Mostly just going to be Camel Riders for the time being. As the Slinger's trying to push forward, trying to take out a couple of units here. Some more Wuzu Javelineers, Pioneers for Mini Yeti. Does he have his upgrades? No upgrades here. At the very least, Tai Chi would be very well worth it. There's 48 favor in the bank, so that could be a nice help. Yeah, both players have got back gold mines. Gold mine here, gold mine here. There's this game. It's mostly going to be I imagine it's mostly going to be a bit of a stare-off here. With the priest almost sniping down the Taltier. Great defense from Mini Yeti there. As Ancestor's Eclipse will get called upon, but this is not really when Matrius would have really wanted to do this. And lightning weapons to come through does now mean that Matrius needs to pull back. Now, he can just pull his minions back and still have around about 35 seconds of usage here. As the minions come onto the backside, going to be able to take out the siege crossbow. They are hitting that back line for the time being as the priests trying to snipe off the Taltier. A couple of Camel Riders to come through as well. Differential in terms of military population is looking like it's favoring Mini Yeti for the time being, as Matrius's big Ancestor's Eclipse push there does not end up working out all too well. Up on the top, Matrius searching for raids. Already walled up, already safe on this back gold mine, no problems. Still charging forward here into the death. Into their death. Those halberdiers are so scary. Like this army comp here from Mini Yeti of halberdier, javelineer. You almost want to go. I mean, if you have segment, obviously slinger and elephant is always nice, but without that, you almost want to go for chariot archers here. And maybe even spearmen. Chariot archers, spearmen. Nonetheless, a monument to the soldiers coming up here. We'll see a ballet coming through momentarily. As the Archer pops in. Matrius slowly falling behind in this game. He does have the Chariot Archers to space at the moment. 17 range versus 19 range. So you can get little bits of damage done from afar here. Oh. Okay. And Matrius taps out. I'm a little confused. I don't think he's like that far behind. Like I said, these Chariot Archers are going to be able to get a whole bunch of value here basically for free. Of course, with the ballet being forward, that's painful, but it's not like you can push these Migdolls very easily. Okay, well, that's game number 1. Mini Eddie is now up 1-0. We'll move into the draft section, get game number 2 going, and see what's going to happen. Alrighty, so for game number 2, which map are we going in on to? Let's have a little quick look. It might be Blue Lagoon. Yes, we are going in onto Blue Lagoon, and it's going to be a Shenong versus Freya game. I'm just going to go fill up my water bottle again. I am feeling like a bit funky at the moment, so I'm going to try and sort myself out a little bit. So I'll be right back. We'll get into game number 2. I'll give myself like a 2-minute timer or something, and then we'll get the next game going in 2 minutes. Alrighty, let's get into game number 2 here. Mini Eddie, Matrius, let's go. Alrighty, in the left-hand corner of the map, playing as Shenong, it is Mini Yeti. Oh, wait, is he in the bottom of the map? He's in the bottom right. Let's fix this up. We do have a little bit of a flipperoonie. All right, Mini Yeti here in the bottom of the map. And on the top of the map, we have Matrius playing as Freya. Do have some relics on the map. Let's have a little cheeky look. We've got the nose of the Sphinx, which increases building hit points by 15%. Everyone's this one. There is the Archimedes' Ledger, which is 1 population down for those siege weapons. Over onto this side, there is the Chariot of Suppe, which is going to be a pair of lions. periodically respawning at your temple. Living the dream. And the Kopesh of Horus, they're giving a little bit of bonus damage versus myth units. So we do see an interesting matchup. This was a matchup that I used to think was... Actually, you know what? I don't even think even on the last patch, before the Norse nerf, before the China sideways buff, a little bit of a nerf, a little bit of a buff type patch, I was actually starting to have a lot of success versus Freya with Shenong. But I don't know if that was just like the players I was playing or whatnot, but I was also having success playing Freya versus Shenong. Because you get things like the Huskal out really easily, you get that Gul and Bursty, that Tempest, all of that stuff works together to help you get into a position where you can actually just beat the Shenong. So, yeah, I'm really not sure how this matchup feels now anymore, but we'll see as Matrius. I mean, I haven't even seen Matrius playing Freya at all, so we'll see what he's going to be going for. Sometimes you watch like certain players play Freya, and it just looks like a completely different style of this god that I like never seen. Like you sometimes, what was the guy? It was like a player Garma Judah in one of the Athenian League games, which is the like kind of low tier tournament. You get like a little 1300 group, 1400 group elo rating, 1500 elo rating, grade 1600. One of the players in that tournament was playing Freya, but he was playing it like the most aggressive Freya you've ever seen, making like Valkyrie, raiding cavalry, and just going full send. Though I wouldn't be surprised to see Mattress going like that either, because he's just full of stuff, full of surprises, doesn't like to play anything too straight down the middle. But nonetheless, Mini Yeti, no surprises here, as he is going to be going for his third Qualfu before the temple. He's going to be dropping his temple down next. And I imagine he's going to be looking for an advance as soon as that temple is finished, because he has all the food in the world. Nonetheless, okay, we are seeing Ulla, so it's not going to be crazy Freya. And it'll be Chio on the other side here for our Shenong player, Mini Yeti, as he finishes up with his third Qualfu. And villagers will move over onto the right. The question is, do you go for a town center in this spot ever? I kind of feel like you don't. You want to put like lots of nice pressure on and apply the pressure into the right spots, get into the center of the map, be sending those sky lanterns all over the map so that there's no way for the Freya player to sneak anything by you. But Matrius says, hang on, what if we just drop our Asgardian Hillfort down before our opponent's even in the Classical Age? Longhouse coming down. Asgardian Hillfort will be next. Of course, it takes a little bit of time for it to come up, as the Sky Lantern will spot this. But there's no time here for Mini Yeti to react. He has to get over here, 80 seconds. We're going to see throw an Axeman coming through as well, so he needs fire archers predominantly. And yeah, I think Matrius is going to be set up super early to get onto this town center and just be good to go here. Meanwhile, Mini Yeti says, you know what? I'm just going to grab a town center. And he grabs it with peasants. I don't think I've ever seen this. It's normally always Qualfu, no? I wonder why. It's a lot more resources in, maybe? Maybe it's less spend? Anyways, Asgardian Hillfort will be up. Matrius can then... He hasn't really scouted, is the only problem with this. He hasn't seen what Mini Yeti's doing, but realistically here, if I haven't seen anyone coming through, I'm just going to drop the town center. Like, I probably wouldn't even bother with the Great Hall, because, yeah, sure, if he comes over with a whole bunch of units, you go, oh, great, you're not going for the town center. And you lose out a little bit of resources on the town center that you're building, but that's fine. Is this going to be another town center? Surely not. He's almost got the resources for that third one to just get dropped down. Chongqi comes in for free. That's going to be nice. Dude. Could you imagine a Shenong player just going fast 3 TC in this matchup just because? Meanwhile, pops forward, checking out the giraffe, and this should confirm town center being up, as he does notice it there. And now he's going to look for potentially his own town center on the top. Armory coming up. He could go for a fast Yadlir idea and try and siege down this position and catch Mini Yeti out in a big way. But he's got a whole bunch of units, so may as well use them. Trying to raid. I think if Matrius is going to be playing this one on the boomy side, he is going for Yadlir. Or is it Dahlia? He's going for Dahlia. This is pretty scary here, because it means we are seeing some towers coming through, and now the army will have to think about pulling back. Towers onto this one as well, I imagine. There he goes. There's going to be plenty of defense here for Mini Yeti. He's happily just sitting on this position as well. Decides, all right, I'll start turning around, starting to shank. The Yatsu Chongqi combo here looking very, very strong. Couple of halberdiers to come through, trying to get over there and take out the raiding cavalry. It'll be a little bit tricky there, but at this point, just too much power inside of those myth units and not enough heroes for Matrius. As Mini Yeti holds, he does spend a lot on those towers, but because he's 2 TC, does not matter. Meanwhile, portable ram coming through, and Matrius is going to be crazy here, I think. He is saying, let's go, let's kill him. 2 portable rams out. Is that going to be enough? At the moment, it's 2,000 military value versus 900. There's a huge villager differential, though. That's the portable ram to come through. And that's going to slowly start chipping away at that Mini Yeti military camp. The villagers will just turn in here and start repairing it back up. Don't want to lose it for free, as the army takes a little bit of a fight on the military camp to come down. The part of the thing here is, if you're playing a 2 TC game with a lot of Quaofu here as the Shenong, and your opponent's playing 1 town center, I love this idea from Mini Yeti, because you just get so much gold, so much wood from those Quaofu. Just make yourself a ton of towers. Like, sure, the portal rams are going to be pretty decent to push through them, but you're also going to be building units as well, as Mini Yeti does decide to drop his lightning weapons here. This pressure looking very, very difficult to deal with at the moment. Pioneers with the Javelineers going after those throwing axes, as the Halberdiers are getting sniped down over there as well. Villagers to come through, maybe trying to snipe the portable ram here. Not going to be able to do so, as another military camp does end up falling. And now Mini Yeti needs to ask the question. He goes, oh, maybe we shouldn't be being this aggro. Because here's the thing, Matrius now, he can grab this technology out of his town center, and he's almost got, actually, he has the favor now, I believe. Maybe? No, he needs 60 favor. 60 favor to get himself Asgardian Fortress and that technology. And he can put that down on the face of Mini Yeti, and there's not going to be a whole lot we can do. As the portable rams coming in here. Still lots of units falling for Matrius, but he is in full send. More portable rams on the way. The Yachts is continuing to come through. Villagers taking out the rams. And it looks to me like Mini Yeti will be defending this for the time being. Mini Yeti moving over onto this gold mine. He's finished with the gold in his main base. And Matrius has to pull back. Has not managed to kill the town center. Hasn't managed to kill any villagers. Minieti in a really, really good position now. We're on to this side. Mattress now on the way. We'll be able to hit these villages. But the Quailfu can just turn around. Like this is so many. Look at it. There you go. This is so many Quailfu. The dodge, the dive, the dip, the duck. One Quailfu going down. The Taowu to save it? No. One Quailfu for one raiding cavalry. That's not a bad trade there. Not in the slightest. Not for Matrius here. There's another longhouse to come through. He is making Draugr. And 4 portable rams on the way. As our Chinese player here, Minieti, he's in a difficult spot now. He does have terracotta riders as well, so that's going to be hard to push through. Rushhold pre-queue, but that's not going to be anytime soon. As Matrius says, let's try and change the field of battle. Let's go down to the bottom. Attacking on these Shenong farms, that's going to be a little bit of pain. As the portable rams wandering through here, be able to take out a military camp quickly as the longhouse over here does end up falling. Lots and lots of javeliniers coming through from Minieti as well, which will extend his gold mines a bit because they don't cost much gold in the slightest. Matrius getting his entirety of his army knocked around here. The Javelineers in a good spot. Only 2 Pioneers does make things a little bit difficult to deal with those Draugr. As the Thrown Axeman pulling back beautifully here. Great control from Matrius. As the Huskal going to be a fantastic unit to use here. And Matrius does manage to win another fight, but this is just keeping the attack going to some degree. Minieti is pulling ahead on income in a crazy big way. As we will see Ring Oath coming through, 13 seconds, and it is in. Meanwhile, Rage of the Slaughter coming through here for Minieti as well. Comes around onto the side. We'll snipe that temple. That's a big snipe. Always a lot of resources there. Lots of resources in the bank now for Matrius as well. I'd love to see him get that next hill fort down. Spend it all on Thrown Axeman and Huskal. This is portable rams getting caught out here. That's not ideal. We don't want to be losing those. A machine workshop there on the front. We will be seeing... Hello there. He deleted it. Okay. I was like, how did he do that? He deleted the longhouse. Asgardian hill fort up onto this side. Meanwhile, Minieti already getting his walls over here to secure this gold mine, because why not? And second town center, third town center here for Matrius, as Matrius goes, all right, that's enough attacking for one day. Let's get our economy sorted. But he's got a lot of catching up here to do. Minieti gifted a Baihu now as well, as his army is just going to get stronger and stronger as Rushall coming through. Crenellations as well on the way, as these villagers will get kind of caught out here, but they're moving up to the top behind the walls. No problems. A couple of halberdiers in to snipe a whole bunch of those raiding cavalry. Does manage to get through there without losing everything. It's attempted a ghost building. Quite able to make that one happen. When will Mr. play? He played yesterday, and he's going to be playing Saturday next week. Okay. Matrius' town center on the way. He has this one up now. I imagine Matrius will try and head to the next age relatively soon. But Mini Yeti now going to be grabbing himself the heavy infantry. Spoils of War also to come through. I always like this technology. It's pretty expensive, 250 gold, 25 favor, but every single building you kill, that's money back. Walls as well. There's the villagers in the center of the map on that gold mine. They're going to have to figure out something else to do here. Random market in the middle of the map there for Matrius. He can buy his way to the heroic age, which he definitely does need. But differential on military resource value still in favor of Matrius. He might want to consider taking a fight. Obviously, there is a Fey Beasts up the back sleeve of Mini Yeti, but a fight here wouldn't be totally out of the question. There's a couple of military camps going to be getting the tower attachment. Market goes down, getting himself that wood. Always nice. How much is this worth? It is actually worth resources, so you can get money back for trying to take out the Asgardian Hill Fort here. As Fey Beast gets dropped down onto the back line here, immediately diving through the Asgardian Bastion, trying to get himself to safety here. A really nice fight, it looks like, for Mini Yeti, as he zones off the units over there. And Matrius, to dive into the Asgardian Hill Fort, he might just have to sit back and wait here for that one to expire. He's getting some good damage on a bit of ballet coming through for Mini Yeti. He says, hey man, what are you going to do? But A-Gear in does mean Tempest through. And lightning weapons for the second time getting dropped now for Mini Yeti. That's going to put a little bit of a problem in to Matrius's ability to stop this ballet. It's getting close. 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. It does finish, but does it go down? It does go down just barely there, but is there enough army after all is said and done here for Matrius to hold? And it's looking like there might just be all the upgrades coming through for Matrius as well. Another ballet going to be coming in as Mini Yeti is spamming into this area. All the units, the queue is gigantic, but heavy infantry, bronze weapons, bronze armor on the way now for Matrius. As the Gullenbursty gets pulled in from afar, but that Asgardian Bastion is taken out, and a huge amount of resources go over to Mini Yeti for it as well. At this point, Matrius really needs to think, well, maybe I shouldn't be going so crazy on these attacks. Still doesn't have his upgrades in. Try and deny the ballet here as the Gullenbursty does manage to do so with the help of that Rock Giant. At the very least, with the Rock Giant here getting some taunts, you can actually fight with everything else. There's another ballet, or not a ballet, but an Asgardian Hill Fort getting dropped down. Up onto this side, walls coming through for Mini Yeti while this is all going on. Going to be ready to grab this gold mine. There's a wood. House is getting killed. Another ballet coming up for Mini Yeti. He's just like, no, I want this position. Kill it as many times as you want. I want this position. It's mine. My position. Now, Great Hall coming up for Matrius. I don't know about the raiding cavalry here. I think if he wants to go cavalry at this point, it's in his best interest to actually go for Jarls over raiding cavalry. There's plenty of gold mines around the outside of the map as well, so this doesn't really matter that much, but it's gonna be a big help, I think, as these Great Halls and everything else continuing to get sniped down. Matrius with just the one hill fort at the moment. He really wants those Huskar, but it takes a long time for him to get him as the Halberdier do spot the Asgardian Hill Fort, but that will get finished up over there, no problems. As the villager's sneaking over here, we'll see some walls up. Gonna grab himself the giraffes and all the other good stuff there. The Mini Eddie still does have to be careful. This is... He might have... He doesn't have an advantage on income anymore, but he did have an advantage on, like, probably on total resources just because he's been in front for so long. But that being said, all the Frere upgrades coming through now does change things a bit. As Matris trying to get himself sorted out. Huskarl will be beating up those halberdiers, no problems. Raiding cavalry coming around onto the back. Imagine Mini Yeti's going to be able to pull his halberdier back here and put a stop to that as the throw and axe needs to get pulled out of here. But diving straight onto all those Huskarl is not going to be ideal here as the throw and axe going to come back in. But immediately Mini Yeti targets them down again. Great control from Mini Yeti as Matrius trying to deal with everything here. Population's very, very close. You do see the Chi Wen coming in as a ballet going to get dropped down. Is there enough stuff here for Matrius is the question. I mean, the fight is so close, but I mean, those siege crossbows aren't going to be that helpful. That's going to have a fairly significant effect on the military resource value for Mini Yeti. And now Mini Yeti says, all right, I better pull back. Let's get out of here. A whole bunch of Dow is going to be really helpful. Divine Judgment coming through as well now. The Dwarves coming over onto this spot, but one little opening here as an Asgardian Bastion onto the back coming through. But with that Qinglong and all these units here, it looks like Matris does have to pull back. He's got a pretty big lead on military here, though. The Godi to come through. We'll see if he can actually break through all this stuff as Huang Di pre-queued. So we're just getting sniped on this gold mine. Is there any other? There is another gold mine. He really doesn't need to be on this one just yet. Like he can be happily on the side gold mines, no problems here. Matrius is just slamming his head into this brick wall. Generally not what you want to be doing against the Shenong here. You want to try and find your advantage and then push it. But at the moment, he just keeps on charging in, and this is just going to be more and more units getting spammed out here. Matrius, however, is getting close to his own Mythic Age at the moment. As the ballet does end up falling. Probably not enough throwing action here for Matrius. How many long hats? It's always the bane of a Norse player's existence. Infrastructure. Always. Just grab one unit and just spam buildings with that one unit. And that way you're always going to be increasing your infrastructure. Just have one unit out of the army. It's fine. And we see Hell here for Matrius. I don't know about this one. Hell is an interesting decision. There's like the Sage, there's the Jiangxia. There's going to be... Does Wenzhong do anything against the Nidhogg? Does anyone know? Oxcart goes down. Villagers on this gold mine getting pushed off, but Ballet gold mine already finished basically, so no problems there. He's still got one more gold mine over on this side that he can make his way around to, but he hasn't scouted it. This is really dangerous for Matrius. He hasn't scouted this. He's going to try and break through over onto this side to try and grab the gold mine here. Mini Eddie, just simply put, has got more gold mines than Matrius does now. Just because Matrius has missed this one. There's literally 2 gold mines left on the map. This one, excuse me, there's one here as well. The Dwarves gonna dive through here, come over onto this side, try and knock this down. Mini Eddie can drop another ballet over onto this spot, maybe even try and attack the town center. He is going up to the Mythic Age now through Huang Di. I mean, on the other side, a Nidhogg getting dropped onto the gold of Mini Yeti is going to be really nice here, but the same thing can happen to Matrius's villagers. There's one ballet down, another one probably to come immediately. Roll over onto this side, Matrius Town Center under fire. And he might have to drop Nidhogg over here, but like Jiangxia's in. This is such a strong unit. Nidhogg comes through. Gonna use his regular ability for the time being. Like with this guy, like look at the damage he's doing. I don't know if it actually shows it up or not. I don't think it does. It just doesn't do as much damage as you'd think. Does it? Yeah, it doesn't. Let's see. Hang on. Jiangxia on in hot pursuit over here. Meanwhile, her Mythic Age in now, or almost in for Mini Yeti. Fire Giant pulling back from the Sage as the Jiangxia will end up going down into the town center. Gets a couple of shots off. Nice little play there from Matrius. Now, Mythic Age through for Mini Yeti. We're just over onto this gold mine. They're onto this gold mine. Starting a trade route here is a must for both players right now, as the Yinglong does get called upon here. Nidhogg over onto this spot as well. That's going to start getting shut down by the ballet and all the other good stuff. And the Yinglong can now target down the dwarves. This is the final gold mine for Matrius at the moment, and he's going to lose so many dwarves here. The Fire Giant at the very least is going to attempt to take this guy out. It's a little bit of damage with that special ability, and slowly going to chip away at this one, but as soon as he gets targeted back, it will be all over there for the Fire Giant. But Mini Yeti's game plan, very, very smart here. Just control all of the gold, and that's totally fine. So Nidhogg to come through. Another Tempest getting dropped down. Huge little bit of damage there onto the, huge bit of damage onto the back line there as all of those dudes get sniped. The Wenzhong, I didn't even know he had a special ability there. He actually attacks flying myth units with that like a Pharaoh does. I never knew. Nonetheless, the Hundun getting sniped. But the problem here is that Matrius has got very little gold. Now he's grabbing this gold mine. He needs to secure or push this position here as soon as he possibly can. Another Asgardian Bastion to come down. The Zhuan Wu going to clean up the Asgardian hill fort over here as well. Well, I mean, Wenzhong used to be able to convert the Nidhogg onto his side, right? So it's a nerf, right? It's a nerf from when he was released. Some Huskarl to come over here. I mean, is there a market up at the very least for Matrius? Is the classic Matrius market in the corner here? But Mini Yeti is back up to full pop. He's got a big fat army. The Hundun going to be able to slap down the Asgardian Bastion over here. And now, does Mini Yeti also have all of his upgrades? Yes. He does. He's got that Yuan's bloodline. He's got Li Zhu's silk. He's got everything that he needs here. Little Zhu Chu to come through and give everyone a big armor boost here. All that extra buffed up stuff they have. And for Zhu Chu come in, and Matrius there does decide to tap out in this game. Not quite able to beat his way through Mini Yeti's Shenong in this game. A valiant effort. It almost sort of worked for him. I think if he'd spotted this gold mine over here and stayed with it on the right-hand corner, he would be the one with 2 gold mines. Mini Yeti probably would have kept on finishing this off, but it would have been gone. So if Matrius was just like hanging out in the center rather than anything else and grabbed both of these gold mines, I think he actually would have won this game. So it's those really, really tiny decisions that make all of the difference. I mean, resource differential really isn't that much when you consider that you're paying half price for all those upgrades. As the Frere units killed is pretty close here as well. And yeah, it's just that tiny little factor. That tiny little fact that gold is important. And scouting is also important. Unfortunately, Matrius can't make that work in this one. We'll jump back over to the draft and see what we're going to see for game number 3. Alrighty, so an extra point here for Mini Yeti. Let's get this last game going. We do have another series starting soon, so we'll see how it's going to go. Alrighty, so the next series here is going to be Poseidon versus Set. Let's make it happen. Alright, in the top of the map, spawning as the blue Set. His name is Mini Yeti. Spawning today in the red color. Currently down 0-2 versus Mini Yeti in this series is Matrius. Spicy, spicy, spicy. So top 3 make it through to the playoffs. If Mini Yeti wins this game, Matrius will be down 0-2 in his group. 0-2. And the player he'll have to beat to get a win is probably the strongest player in the group at the moment, it seems, in El Matador. So Matrius, I don't want to say he needs to do it. He has the capability of beating Matador in a series, but he needs to make something happen here. He's got to bring this game back. He's got to bring this series back under into a winning side. Otherwise, life is going to be very, very difficult. All right, let's check out the relics. Chariot of Sibel. The lion's going to be spawning at the temple. Ring of Nibelung. Bit of gold trickle there as well. We've got that Bridle of Pegasus, everyone's favorite scouting relic. Get a free Pegasus. Can help out a ton. And finally, the 9-tailed Fox Charm. So I would be surprised to see Mini Yeti basically do anything other than opening Spearman here. You could technically go for a fast second town center as Set. It's not the worst thing in the world versus anything. Just because you got all the hunt that you can eat underneath the town center, you can set up to defend whatever your opponent's going to throw at you, and you can be completely fine. But the temple will be up. Is there a monument here? There is no monument actually from Mini Yeti. I wonder if this is on purpose. He is getting himself pickaxe. I don't think he's going to have the resources to advance here. Am I going crazy? Does this build order make no sense? All right. In terms of, like, if we had a tier list of build orders out, I think I had to put this one in the F tier. Sorry, Mini Yeti. Sorry, mate. Did he get anything else? No. Yeah, this isn't it. He's going to be under pressure for a Matreus. Nice and early. Yeah, you can do a 4-minute advance with a monument and pickaxe. So if you want to go for faster, that's when you're going to not drop the monument. Generally. There's one monument to come down over here. He could drop another one if he wants. A couple of priests wouldn't go astray. There's now the classical age hits for Matreus. He's on his main god. He's on his big super Poseidon. So we'll see if Matreus is going to be able to make this one work. He's going to be sending that centaur forward. Looking for early game harassment here. Anubis most likely is going to be in time, though the priest is currently distracted converting animals, but he brings it back. Nice play. Heads up play here to defend against the centaur, of which is charging directly down to the bottom side here. Won't spot any priest, but does kill off a deer. Sad day to be a deer of set there, but classical age now in for Mini Yeti, and he does drop 3 barracks. No surprises here. If Matreus comes up and grabs this town center, life could get difficult for Mini Yeti, because knocking off this gold mine is going to be really, really hard for a full classical fight. But he's not. He's going for spear. He's going for Hippias. He's going for the raiding playstyle. And what Mini Yeti is doing here is going to be a really nice counter. Alrighty. I believe our next series here is also Tunison. Am I right on this? We have Tunison versus. Ah no, that's in a little bit later. We still have another hour. All right, so Spearman charging through. Hippias here. Need to start thinking about something else to do, I think. When you see your opponent spamming Spearman like this, you have to go, okay, well, we go a whole bunch of centaur, or we're going to go for a town center, or we're going to go in for a heroic age, or just anything other than mass Hippias, basically. As Mini Yeti is going directly to the corner of the map, trying to be as sneaky as he possibly can to get over onto this position. Does he see any villagers here? Answer, there are none. Still in the main base, still eating his deer from the lure and all the other good stuff. Of course, also is Mini Yeti going to be doing the same thing? Because why not? That's just what happens in these sorts of situations. But Serpent Spear is queued up as well. Almost going to have the favor for that one as an armor to come through. And the Spearmen do spot a Hippias. Nice snipe there as Matreus will have to pull back and start dealing with this. Spearman into the main base, but there's no way to go that way. The walls on the back, not quite finished yet. There's still a little bit of an opening here onto this wooden wall. As the Spearmen say, all right, we're not going to bother onto that side. Let's get out of here. Serpent Spear, more Spearmen coming through. Clairvoyance on the way as well for Mini Yeti. There's little bits of harassment into the main base, or into the main little area here. Centaur are through, so you got to be careful with those Spearmen. But he's got a lot of units over onto this side as well, as Mini Yeti slowly bringing his way forward. Spearman poking away. Trying to break it onto this spot as the Centaur turning, getting damage done. Priest getting the heals off as well. Just realized we're not actually in the Loki division, are we? Or are we? No, we are in the Loki division. Hey, well done. Okay. All the upgrades to come through. Nephthys queued up for Mini Eddie at the moment as Matrius. Well, no. Matrius is trying to get Heroic Age. I like this play, especially through Aphrodite at the moment. You need that Aphrodite to make sure that you survive the next little part of the game while you set up in the Heroic Age. Kind of pays a little bit for that Heroic Age in a way. Because you can kill off like 800 resources worth of unit. You get Heroic Age. That was 1300. So you're only behind 500, but then you get access to Hypaspis, which can be a nice little counter for all of these spearmen. Alternatively, you can just build Toxotes. As the Hippias coming up, they will spot one villager there. Sniping that one down. But on the backside of this, Nephthys will come through for Mini Eddie as well, as he does have to start thinking, okay, how do I deal with a Hypaspis? Do we go into Chariot Archers? Are we going to make ourselves Slingers? Are we going to go for Camel Rider Elephant? But then he also has to confirm that Hypaspis are coming through. If it's just going to be Toxotes, then you just go for Slingers, or you just go for Chariot Archers. It's totally fine. Obelisk getting picked off here consistently as Mini Eddie. What is he seeing? He does have that one baboon of Set just hanging out onto the settlement over here. But now Heroic Age is in for Matrius. Goldmine about to run out for Mini Eddie. He pulls all the way back. A little bit of tense moments here as the vision does get dropped down from Mini Eddie, trying to see exactly what's coming his way. He sees archery range. He sees stable. This is so much information for Mini Eddie right now. Mini Eddie can just happily go, all right, well, do we make some slingers or what here? Enough gold in the bank for a Migdol. There is also going to be Plague of Serpents as well as Ancestors to break out. There is also going to be a ceasefire, I guess, as the army of Matrius all moving up to the top side. He does see an opportunity to get a bit of a raid over here. Mini Eddie is out of position to defend this one. Pharaoh immediately pulls back, going to turn and just sacrifice himself a little bit as the villagers, will they get away without any losses? One goes down, two goes down, three goes down. He does get back into his main base, but he does get up a Migdol while this is all going on. So it's not all bad. That's the Nemean Lions coming through, but there are a handful of priests. There's also a couple of myth units in as well, so plenty of defense here for the Nemean Lions, at least at the moment. Matrius actually says town center. This is so dangerous by Matrius, no? And it also gets spotted. I think Mini Eddie is going to read this situation beautifully here. A town center here is Matrius saying, I believe that Ceasefire Curse is going to be able to make up for this town center because he hasn't really found an advantage in this game. He's run out of gold in his main base. He's going to have to move forward here. I tell you what would be amazing if he faked the town center, killed the baboon, came over onto this position, sent all of his army over here to defend, but never mind. The vision comes through. Ancestors gets dropped. Ceasefire will be being needed here. There's Plague of Serpents over onto the left side. A fortress getting dropped down, but I don't know if that's... I mean, after the ceasefire is done, it'll definitely shoot up faster. But it takes a long time to build a fortress during a ceasefire. And Mini Eddie will have to face through a curse here. Obviously, all of these serpents are going to be annoying to deal with. There are two Nemean Lions here as well. As the minions coming over, we will see the curse getting... He hits half of the ancestors there. That's not ideal. And the army of Mini Yeti is just going to be overwhelming Matrius's forces here. The fortress will not go up, and Matrius taps out in that position. I don't know what triggered Matrius to go town center here. Every single fiber of your being right now needs to be, got to get a town, got to get a gold mine, got to get a gold mine, got to get a gold mine. That's where we lose. But Mini Yeti, perfect reaction to it. Goes, okay, you go for that. I know you're going for a gold mine. Let me go and kill you. Find out where he is. Spots it. All right, sends everything over here. Fantastic. But incredibly well played here from Mini Yeti in this series. Now, this is off the back of Matrius actually beating Suppe in a LAN the other day, using this format, actually using the Champions League format. So it's not like Matrius is out of shape. Super solid games from Mini Yeti today. And you take out that military difference, resource-wise. Poseidon is in front. Military-wise, Set is in front. Wait, is he in front? Yeah, Set is in front, of course. And all of that is just from ancestors and from the fact that there's 700, 1,000 resources lost from building a town center. Nonetheless, well played from Mini Yeti. Let's jump over to here. Talk about what's going to happen next. Alrighty, now, unfortunately, we have 1 hour to wait for the Chasing the Sun versus Chasing the Sun versus Tunison set. Yes, that will be in 1 hour from now. I will ask if they can start earlier, or I will just go ahead and put the next thing on for a little bit. So let me just ask if these guys can start. Can you start now, perchance? I don't know if they'll be able to, but I will ask. And then we'll see what's going to happen. Should be a really, really good series. I think Chasing the Sun's a little bit of a dark horse in this group. If they can't start now, that's fine. I might go AFK for an hour. Okay, Tunison can only start. Oh, you mean 18, right? Am I wrong on this? Did we say something different? Oh, never mind. All right. They changed the stuff. They pinged me and I totally missed it. So we got 2 hours now. We could watch the Darth Nox versus Garner series, but to be honest, I think what we're going to actually do is I'm going to take a break. I'm going to end stream for now. I'm just going to come back in 2 hours for the Tunison Chasing the Sun series, just on the fact that I am pooped. So I'm going to have a little break, a little bit of a rest, and I'll be back in literally 2 hours. So don't you guys... Well, you guys can go somewhere, but come back in 2 hours. Mwah, mwah.